Hotep Senuyena Senut, ET, Adan Isha Kandukemet. What's the deal, yo? Every time I want to check the sound, I get the advert. Give me 3 seconds so I can check the volume. I can check the sound quality. So shape it like this. So how does it sound now? So shape it like this. So how does it sound now? So far, so good. Brothers and sisters, I hope you are doing well. A few of you, a fair bit of you, have shown interest to learn the Medu nature or the hieroglyphic writing. Some of you are new, so you might have missed that time when I live stream and several people showed their interest. And there was a time when I talked about the group. Well, here is the opportunity. Here is the opportunity, because you can register to the channel. You can join the channel and become a member, not just a simple subscriber, but actually become a member. And it is way cheaper this way. And the only difference with the private lessons, the one-on-one classes, is that this time would not be, it will be in a group, basically. So I have shared a link. It's the second link in the chat. The first link is the call-in link. So as usual, feel free to call in, to type your statements or type your questions in the chat, no matter what the topic says, or no matter what the title says. Feel free to address anything you like, all right? But for those who are interested in learning the Medu nature, has it not been corrected? Okay, well, if I refresh it, okay, that's fine. So those of you who want to learn it, it's very easy, very simple. Besides this link, the second link in the chat, whenever you are on my channel and whenever you are on one of my videos, you will have the link or the button, let's say, the button that says join. And then you will be informed of the fee, the monthly fee. And there you go. If you want to learn, don't wait. There's no point waiting. And don't be afraid, don't be scared. Learning another language is not always the easiest thing in the world, but with commitment and perseverance, you will get there. Besides the classes, there's plenty of material to go through. Hey, what's up, Anthony Harris? How you doing? Feel free to call in if you want to, brother. So, like I was saying, besides the classes, you will have plenty of material to practice with. Because as you have seen, and the latest one was uploaded today, is what is it the Florence Museum that I uploaded? I have a few museums in Italy. I think that I've finished going through the artifacts from the Vatican Museum. So, well, let me see which museum I've uploaded from this morning. Let me see. Let me see from which museum I've uploaded this morning. Yes, indeed, it is Florence Museum, or as they say in Italian, Firenze. And then you will have another museum, because I did 3 in my last museum trip, which was just the second museum trip. The first one being last year, as you know. And how many did I do last year? Oh, I can't remember. Actually, I did 3. last year. I did the one in Lyon, south of France. I did the one in Geneva, Switzerland, and I did Torino or Turin in Italy. Hmm. Oh, here's our brother. What's up, brother? How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? Hotepu, Hotep, Ashe, and
What's
peace.
up?
How you doing?
I'm chilling, brother. I'm chilling. How
Yeah,
about
yeah.
yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Mm.
Just want to fill you in on that. I guess that supposed debate with me and Afro-Asiatic that it wasn't going to happen. I didn't feel like he was being honest with his sources and honest with the scholarship. I think he just wanted to come in there and do a lot of gish galloping and throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. You know what that is, and hopefully he could get the win. You know, he was making up a lot of stuff, such as the Anuak people were Afro-Asiatics, and this group of people was Afro-Asiatics, and he would sort of try and bring genetics into it. I was just like, Lord have mercy, man. You know, some of these people have been there since the Paleolithic age. Why are you going to Afro-Asiatic? Like, so we didn't get the debate off, and I just want to fill you in. It's like always. He brings these sources like Renoko Rashidi, and he says that even he says it. And Renoko Rashidi has in his book, not Renoko Rashidi, excuse me, Shank Auntie Job has in his
Mhm.
book an entire section dedicated to the Eastern influence of Egypt, and he says it never happened. You know, there was no Asiatic influence on Egypt. As a matter of fact, it came from below the Sudan. Everything come up from the below the Sudan on up towards the Mediterranean. And I said, where's it at? He's not saying that. He's saying right here that it doesn't exist. Then he says, well, he's using context clues. I'm like, what? Like, so it was typical classic Asiatic lying. So,
But the discussion you're just talking about right now,
mhm.
you said the debate did not happen. So when was that discussion that you just mentioned right now?
It's on my channel. You can go to it. It's called
On your
Asiatic.
channel?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, is your channel Anthony Harris?
Chris MVP Harris.
Okay, come again, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Chris. Then
Yeah, Chris
yes,
MVP Harris.
MVP. Okay, Harris. All right. Oh, you put the Bible is fake. No. Um, is it the one make debates great again? Oh, okay. MVP versus Asiatic. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously this was not really the debate. It was just a live stream you did, and it came on, right?
No, what we were trying to do was we were trying to set up a debate, and
Oh,
generally,
oh, 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 oh. I'm sorry. That guy is just about to back up on my car. I'm sorry about this. Go ahead, brother.
okay, me and him was trying to set up a debate, but in order to set up a debate, you must first properly exchange your sources. You must also ask your opponent, what is your argument? There are certain steps that I take when trying to get a debate started with my opponent. And one of the things I kept asking him is, what is your definition of Asiatic, Afro-Asiatic? Because Afro-Asiatic is a linguistic group. It's not a people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Spoke exclusively on the continent of Africa. So he has this thing where he runs around and he says, Afro-Asiatics created Kemet. And I said, well, if you're saying that according to the definition, I would agree. Afro-Asiatic speakers. But my whole thing has been they don't need to add Asiatic in there. It was an African language, nothing more. All of it. It was African language. So he would not say what Asiatic was. You get what I'm saying? He kept saying, I'll leave that up for the debate. Like, no, we need to go in there with a given definition so I can understand what I'm arguing against here. And he just kept going to all of these sources, and none of the sources was saying what he was saying.
What
It
he's claiming?
didn't.
Yes.
None of it. He would go to something like the Nubian complex in Dhofar, and he would call it the Arabian duplex. I mean, complex. And I'm like, wait a minute. But it says the Nubian complex. Why are you saying the Nubians? I mean, the Arabian Nubian complex. You're making it look like the Asians had some type of Islamic or Arab influence on it. And it tells you in the article that the East, it was not influenced by the East nor anybody from Europe. They said it was clearly of African distinction. In other words, they were saying Africans came over there and built it. That's what they were saying. And it's constant, it's constant pontificating by this gentleman. And I was just all like, nah, man, you know. And plus, he's supposed to be new to debates, and I felt like I would have embarrassed him pretty bad. So it was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. It was pretty sad.
Well, I'm very familiar with his claims. I don't know where else he usually goes to, like which other platform, but everybody knows that he's been a very regular caller, and many of us have heard his claims over and over again. And indeed, the consistent thing is that he attributes some statements from so many scholars, and they don't actually say what he claims. This is habitual, but that's his stance. He's deeply into the Asiatic thing, obviously because he's a member of the Nation of Islam. So
Right.
they
Exactly.
have
He's
their belief that they are trying to pass off as facts, as history.
yeah. Well, he's trying to push the Farad Muhammad teachings, and what I'll be trying to sit up there and say is Farad Muhammad didn't teach what you're teaching. So why are you teaching it? Nor did Elijah Muhammad teach what you're teaching. You understand what I'm saying? So we weren't able to get it off, and he was. I would ask him for dates. He didn't understand dates. He didn't understand historical accuracy, and I was just like, dude, you're all over the place, and you're reading these genetic reports, and you think you know what you're talking about. A lot of those reports are written with a huge bias, and you
Well,
don't even.
he's in the chat right now, as you can see. He wrote, "Stop lying, Chris. All the debaters from SVDL agree. You ran Suave Solomon in anonymous Hebrew." Okay, well, he declined. Brother Chris declined. You know, but I I still haven't seen any scholars talking that black Asiatic went to Egypt and built a civilization. Maybe you can find some scholars who will claim that some Asiatics built the civilization of Kemet, but I have yet to see any scholar claiming that black Asiatic went to Kemet and built the civilization there.
Exactly. So they left their own home, came all the way across the Nile. I'm sorry, came all the way across the Transjordan region, came across the Red Sea, went down the Nile to the Sudan and started building pyramids, went back up, went all the way back across and tried to build Sumer and didn't even know how to build a pyramid. Get out of here. That don't even make no sense.
Mm-hmm. It's unheard of, really. It's unheard of. But, personally, I'll leave it there because I don't want the brother to call in and push the same narrative again because we did it so many times, and at this point, like I was saying, I haven't seen the documentation um, substantiating those claims because those claims are just academically, those claims are just brand new. They don't even exist. Nobody says that, and it's a shame that we as a people usually like to make up stuff.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know, because Far Muhammad thought that Africa is the jungle of East Asia. You know, and he came up with the 24 scientists, which is probably derived from that uh, Indian teaching that I've quoted a while back.
Give me 1 second, brother.
No problem. But there's so many things that Father Muhammad thought that is just not documented at all, not substantiated at all. I mean, one of the strangest claim. Now, this is Elijah Muhammad said it, but Elijah Muhammad said that he got everything that he knows from Father Muhammad, and that's the claim that you can go and see the body of Jesus in Jerusalem. In Jerusalem, if you pay $6,000 and you get a certificate from the Pope of Rome. And I've quoted that already. You know, some people might be like, are you for real, brother? Yes. There's actually a book published about that. Jesus' death and what it means, something like that. The title goes something like that. You know, it's from the publishers uh, that owns the rights to the book Message to the Black Man. And I think it's MEMS, Minister Elijah Muhammad Publication Society, something like that. So if you go on the Final Calls website, they will sell some books from Elijah Muhammad, but at least the last time I checked, they were not selling Message to the Black Man. So this publishing house that sells Message to the Black Man is them. They have plenty of books from Elijah Muhammad, which really are speeches of Elijah Muhammad. So they have those large books and have smaller books. The one about Jesus is a very, very thin. I still have it at home, you know. And they sell many on PDF format. So yes, a lot of people don't know that, but that's what Elijah Muhammad said. However, if you're a Muslim, you don't need to pay. If you're a Muslim, you don't need to pay to see the body of Jesus. You know, and as a matter of fact, now that I'm at it, let's substantiate what I'm saying. Let's substantiate what I'm saying. It will not be long. If I don't find the text, then I will put up the video. Just give me a few seconds. Just a few seconds. The document is loading. Now, okay. Let me try the other document. And if it's not any other document, then I'll play the video. Let me see it in that one. Yes, the book title is The History of Jesus' Birth, Death, and What It Means. Now in the video, I'll read all through, but there I have excerpts, but in the video that's on my channel, I think the title says Jesus stabbed to death, and you can see his body for $6,000. If you put $6,000 or stabbed to death, ma'at forever. Whenever you look for a video, whenever I direct you to one of my videos, brothers and sisters, type in first ma'at forever, and then type whatever title I tell you about, unless you go to the video section and you search within the videos, then you don't need to type in math forever. But some people don't really know how to search within the video. So I uh, I will show you putting the excerpts there. Oh, you know what? I do better if I put it in the
Oh,
slide. Hold on. Okay, never mind, never mind. It's just that I should make it larger anyway. So let me try that 150. Okay, I forgot about that actually. Now let me share the screen. Let's share the screen. Okay, so I'll make it a little bit larger because there's room.
what you sharing right here?
I'm sharing Elijah Muhammad claiming that we can see the body of Jesus in Jerusalem. So, as you can see, brothers and sisters, the title of the book is The History of Jesus' Birth, Death, and What It Means. And it starts on page 14. Joseph rented one of those fast camels, put Mary on her baby on it, and said to the camel, "Take this woman to Cairo, Egypt. Hurry, hurry." The camel went directly to Cairo with Mary and her child Jesus. So we learned that Joseph spoke to a camel and gave the camel an instruction, and the camel obeyed, understood the instruction. But that's not the main point. Now on page 17, no, sorry, still page 14. Jesus and his mother were Aboriginal Egyptians. This may be the reason Joseph sent them to Egypt. So, this must be so here. So that she would be among her own people, away from the Jews whose intentions were to kill her. Let me correct on my document. So, there is so. Continue. So here we learn something new as well. Elijah Muhammad says that Jesus and his mother were Aboriginal Egyptians. So they were not Jews or Hebrews or Israelites or Judeans or Canaanites, sorry. They were not Canaanites, but they were actually Egyptians. That's Elijah Muhammad. Then page 17, nevertheless, on his arrival, he began teaching the Jews the religion of Islam. So we learn, see, we all, at each paragraph, we learn something new. Jesus was teaching the religion of Islam to the Jews. Okay, that part where he starved to death, it starts from page 21, okay, because I will save you the other parts. Now, I must tell you, I don't have the book here because it's at home. But what happens is that, and once again, I have the video to substantiate that. What happens is that two soldiers went after Jesus. There was a reward for the capture of Jesus and a reward for the death or the killing of Jesus. The reward for killing him is higher, okay? So they both went and they put their hand on Jesus more or less at the same time. So they asked Jesus which one was first to touch him. And Jesus said, that soldier put his hand on me like 1/4 of a second before the other one, whatever. And the guard says, or the soldier says, basically, I'm struggling to have mouth to feed and so on. So I'd rather get the reward for the killing. And then we get to that part. And I just paraphrase, but people can verify with the book, okay? So the officer plunged the sword through the heart of Jesus with such force that it went clear through and stuck itself onto the boards that he was standing against, and left him as a crucifix. By Jesus having strong nerves, by Jesus having such strong nerves, his death was so instant that the blood stopped circulating at once. So we learn also that Jesus was not crucified. Now, there are plenty of Muslims, if not all Muslims, I believe he was not crucified because, if I'm not mistaken, in the Quran it says that it was not him, that it was someone else who looked like him or something like that. So Muslims can clarify that, but we learn that he was stabbed to death. Okay, now when Joseph heard of his son Jesus' death, he came and got the body from the authorities. He secured some Egyptian embalmers to embalm the body to last for 10,000 years. They buried the body in the old city, Jerusalem. No Christian is allowed to see the body unless they pay a price of $6,000 and must get a certificate from the Pope of Rome. The tomb is guarded by Muslims, but Muslims, the brothers of Jesus, can go to see his body at any time without charge. And there it is. And I'm sure plenty of people don't know that Elijah Muhammad was teaching that. And what's amazing is that we don't have anybody who testified, who claimed, whoever said, well, I went to see the body of Jesus. If he's not a Muslim, we haven't even heard anybody say, I got my certificate from the Pope of Rome and I paid the fee of $6,000. And we don't even know where to get that certificate from. I don't know about the application process. And in this day and age, with the information age, nobody ever mentioned that. Nobody has any footage of that. No picture, no video. And I wonder what the followers of Elijah Muhammad will say. It's safe to say that this claim is inaccurate.
You know what? You know what, Brother Shaka? You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna start pontificating. Because one thing I've learned about a lot of these quote unquote religious brothers, they like to sit up there and teach these they're like fantasias. They're like spinning fantasias. And the minute you show them the inaccuracy of what it is that they're reading, that what you're reading is inaccurate, how you're interpreting it is inaccurate, they get upset with you, right? Now, I want you to pay attention to what you just read. You read about Elijah Muhammad and what he taught, right? You're reading about it. He's putting his own interpretation on the biblical narrative. He's putting his own, it's clear. He's putting his own interpretation on it. Now, why are these gentlemen running around teaching anything else? Because their master taught them to teach it how they see fit. It's just that simple. That Bible clearly tells you that you're not allowed to reinterpret that book. It tells you that it's not up for private interpretation. And these guys are running around trying to put a spin on history with this Sumerian Asiatic nonsense. It is nonsense at this point. And a lot of the Asiatic brothers and sisters, they have these ideals in their minds. And you always see them show up on channels such as yourself, such as mine, and they try to push the narrative. And if it's not proven, the minute you prove them wrong, all of a sudden you're afraid to debate them. So there's the cognitive dissonance right there. When they know you got them, you're like, nah, man, I don't want to debate this. It's not worth it. I don't see any time need to be put in this until you could tell the truth about a simple direction, about a simple question I'm asking you. What is your definition of Afro-Asiatic? No, you're trying to claim that it was a group of people. No, it is a linguistic family, nothing more. And it behooves me that these brothers and sisters, they do this stuff. I keep saying you have a real history. You can find it from Egypt all the way down to West Africa, all the way back up into Northeast Africa. I do not understand why they keep on trying to prove that people from the East came and built Egypt, but then went back over there and couldn't even build the same structure. I just don't get it, bro. I just do not get it. You mean to tell me they traveled, all migrated from Africa to Sumeria, from Sumeria back to Africa, went all the way down, because he said Narmer was an Afro-Asiatic, went all the way down the Nile, or up the Nile, because the beginning is towards the Sudanic regions, which is sub-Saharan Africa, started building pyramids around the 3rd millennium BCE, probably the 4th millennium BCE with newer studies coming out, right? Or probably later than that, probably the 5th century BCE, 5th millennium BCE, then went all the way back up, went all the way back to Sumeria, and couldn't even build a civilization by the 2nd millennium BCE. Come on, man. It wasn't nothing but a bunch of chiefdoms over there at this time. No original writings, no nothing. And y'all trying to lay claim to that. It's a religious belief, man. Nothing more. It's religion. You know, it's just like when you told the young lady, hey, you know what, there's no attestation for Sheba. And all of a sudden we were equated to Brother Polite. Oh, y'all acting like Brother Polite on here. You know, it's just these claims that they make. Like he said, everybody know you were running. How was I running? I've debated literally everybody over there. I haven't lost a debate in like 4 or 5 years. And I'm afraid of you. If y'all want to see somebody get beat up, Ngozi even came on the channel and beat him up real bad. He's trapped in his own, he's got his own, these cognitive barriers up, and he's not willing to listen to anyone. And it's no point of trying to argue with somebody like that. Like I always say,
brother.
argument. It's the statement.
You know,
go ahead, brother.
Yes, sorry about this. It's a technique, because at this point, there's so many reasons why people have a dislike and claim that they are tired of hearing about Kemet all the time. But one very important thing when it comes to Kemet is that there's documentation. So we don't need to make interpretation. We have chronologies, we have timelines, we have dynasties, we have precise dates, we have records. We even have outside records, you know, like, of course, the cuneiform tablets or the Amarna letters, and there's surely other documentation as well. I don't know them all. So we don't need to make up stuff or make interpretation or conjecture. But those people with their claims, their fantasy, there's nothing to back it up. There's no record, no documentation to back it up. So really what we hear most of the time is just interpretation. It's just, I think, yes, I think they did this. I think they went there, you know.
It's called revisionism.
Yes, yes.
Their own spiritual texts in the papyrus of Hunefer said that they come from the beginning of the Nile. They come from the beginning of the Nile. You know,
that one, you're aware it's a bit disputed.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. People say that they haven't seen it. It's Dr. Ben who said that, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem, regardless, we know that they started off in sub-Saharan Africa. We know they started off there. And remember, sub-Saharan Africa is just a Eurocentric view of Africa to claim the northern half of Africa, which includes Egypt, Carthage, etc., because they wanted to make it look like everything below northern Africa was in fact inferior. That's what they were doing. But when you look at Egypt's history, when you look at its writing, they see earlier writings of that in Nubia, and even further down, the culture further down, that's a lot older. And now they're coming forth and they're saying it now. So, yes, there are many things that are still disputed. I agree with you on that. But they never talk about coming from Mesopotamia. There's not one text that lays claim to that. There's no text that lays claim to them coming from the East. And you trying to run to that position on that Sir Flanders Petrie wrote makes absolutely no sense, because he doesn't even have the other half of that. And that has been disproven. So it was just like I said, yo, man, when he was trying to say the Anuak people were in fact Afro-Asiatics, I told him, cool, I'll take the debate. My argument is going, you can go listen to it on my channel, is going to be that the Anuak people have been there since the Paleolithic age. And I said, two, they are considered Nihilistic speakers. They're not even considered Afro-Asiatic speakers. And then he says, well, well, that ain't what I'm saying. There's more to it. I don't care. You're making a claim that these people were the creators of Kemet, and I'm telling you that they are, in fact, Nihilistic speakers. It reduces your entire premise to a talking point. And that's the importance of understanding history and anthropology concerning this entire area. So he
Mhm.
would have just died on it. I said, I don't care what you.
Peace, brother Shaka.
Mm. Peace.
Peace.
Hold on, just one brother, one moment, brother Alphaziatic. Now we have Sifo Dube, who wrote Hotep, everyone. Dube, it sounds like an African name to me, so I'm just curious. Let me know. Now we have this Desiree Grayson. Greetings to you. And we also have Melvin Jefferson. Greetings to you as well. Now, brothers and sisters, if you never called in before, don't hesitate to come and say what's up. All right. I've shared the calling link and I'm sharing it again. Yes, feel free to speak, brother Afro Asiatic.
Yeah, peace, brother Shaka. Good morning to you. Yeah,
Thank
the brother asked for no one else in the league asked for sources, the way that the brother does. But when he asked for a source, I provided source. It's about a week's worth of sources up on the brother's channel. He went and got Ratchet Craig. He went and got Ngozi. He went and got brother Lex to try to, I don't know, deter me or slow me down from approaching him on a debate topic. None of them were able to derail, the direction that I was taking with the sources. Ngozi attempted to do so, but Ngozi broke down. He started cursing because I put the source on the screen. You can go back and look at this. You know what I mean? I put the source on the screen that demonstrated that, according to genetics, Afro-Arabians are the parent of Kush genetically, genetic ancestry of Hadza and Sandawi. When I put that source on the screen, Ngozi broke down and started cursing and saying that, I was up to something simply for submitting scientific data that supported my point of view. You
you.
understand?
But
So
you see,
while
brother, sorry to interrupt you, but I would like to ask you something. It did break up just as you pronounce it, but did you actually say um Afro-Asiatics? Afro-Asiatics are the founders of Kush. Is that what you said?
no, I said that when me and Ngozi got into dialogue on Brother Chris's
Mhm.
channel, I put up a source that demonstrated that Afro Arabians were the
No, Afro.
genetic parent of Kush, and I put it on the screen. Ngozi broke down at that point, meaning that he started cursing, because Ngozi is good with rhetoric, and I respect the brother, but he never showed sources. I showed the source material. Ngozi said that Afro Arabians indeed possibly did found the area of Kemet, but he thought that there was no paperwork on it. I showed Melvin Jefferson and Chris Harris the paperwork on it of the genetic sources that demonstrate that at 23,000, Afro Arabians indeed began to flow back into Horn Africa. Earlier than that as well, but I focused on one particular source. You see, the brother is great with rhetoric, and his mastery of the nomenclature is spectacular. I can't deny that. But the sources trump Ngozi. The genetic sources, they trump Ngozi.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Now, your stance is that Afro-Arabians founded Kush, right?
are the parent of Cushitic ancestry. That's the source's genetic
No,
ancestry of Hassan Sandawi.
but hold on. Now, we need to be clear, because if you say Cushitic ancestry, I don't know what it means. Now, are you saying that the Afro-Arabians founded or well, it doesn't even really add up if I say founded um, the Cushitic people. Are you saying that the Afro Arabians founded the civilization of Kush, or are you saying that the Afro Arabians are the progenitors of the Kushites?
Yes, the study titled "The Genetic Ancestry of the Hadza and Sandawi Peoples." It demonstrates that Afro-Arabian ancestry is the parent of Cushitic ancestry. There would be no Cushitic ancestry without Afro-Arabians, according to the study, not myself.
Okay, okay. Who says that? Who says that the Afro Arabians are the originators of the Kushites?
I keep saying it. The genetic ancestry of the Hadza and
No, but who, who,
Sandawi
who, who says
peoples.
that? Who
That's the
says that?
study.
No, but
That's the
who says that? Who says
the
that? Which
genetic ancestry of the
no, but brother,
Hadza and
brother,
Sandawi
you
peoples.
see, it's the usual thing.
It's just it's
What?
what's it called, Brother Shaka? Can I say something real
Mhm.
quick? While he's
Yes, go ahead.
yeah. I want to say something real quick, and I let the young man
Smashed them.
real quick. Let the brother come to the show. Hey, can you mute him for 1 second so he doesn't be rude?
No, it's okay. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and speak.
Let the
Yes, go ahead
brother.
and speak.
Melvin Jefferson came on the platform, and he's a judge and a moderator at SVDL. And we were trying to set up the debate over the phone. And he, Afro-Asiatic here, he continuously said, "No, I want to come on the show." And I said, "Why do you want to come on the show when we could just set it up over the phone?" He said, "Well, there's some information that needs to get out." And I didn't really want to do it because I knew it would turn into what it's turned into now. So what I said was fine. And we brought him on the show. No one brought anyone on the show deliberately to make him look a certain way. When he came on the show, he was giving out a lot of misinformation, as we hear now. The study
Mm.
shows. The
Okay,
study
I'm
shows.
sorry. I'm sorry. Just hold on 1 second, please. Saifo, brother, please come back. I was about to put you on. I did put you on actually, but there was a bit of background noise. Maybe it was because you were playing the live stream, and that's why I removed you. But you were still in what people call the back chat, or you were just in a waiting queue. So please come back. You never called in before, so please, Saifo Dube, please call again. So go ahead, brother Chris.
Okay, so and as we can see, this is what I'm talking about. Whenever I debate somebody, okay, what's your source for that information right there? Okay, cool. I don't care what a suave boss says. I don't care somebody who I've destroyed in a debate. I don't
These are your
care whether the
peers.
can I finish,
These
please?
are your peers,
Yeah,
brother.
true. And I've destroyed them
They're
in
your
many
peers.
years. I don't care what an anonymous Hebrew says. I've destroyed him in a debate on the biblical Exodus.
These are
Which
your
quite
peers, brother. I
doesn't
have showed more source
excuse me.
material than any
Right.
other debater,
And all right. So
any
let
other
me finish.
debater for a
Brother,
pre-debate.
may I finish?
They all admit that.
Brother,
All
hey,
right,
you're
let,
not
let's
you're
let's
not,
let's let
not
the brother finish. Go ahead, brother Chris. Go ahead.
okay. And he came on and he showed sources, but when he would start reading, talking about the sources, I said, "Can you read that, please, in these sources?" He would never read it. But then when we would go over the sources, me and Melvin and guys from Team Osiris, they're going and pull these sources up while he's talking about them, pontificating. It would never say what he states. It always said the opposite. And we were always saying, "It's not saying what you're saying, bro." We always said that to him. And he's taking these pamphlets or these journals, reading the abstract, and most of these things have almost like 20, 30 something pages, and he reads you two paragraphs and thinks that's
No,
all
they
he
don't.
has to read.
Stop lying.
Then he
No, they
reads
don't.
something called he tried to call it the Arabian Nubian complex, and it doesn't even call it that. It's called the Nubian complex in Dhofar. So he's trying to assign it an Asiatic influence by saying, you guys hear him now. You're asking, who says this? and he's just pontificating on, oh well, the Sandawi
Yeah,
people.
No,
yeah,
I gave him I
That's
gave
all.
him the actual study, the
you
genetic
kept
ancestry of the Hadza and Sandawi. I gave Brother Shaka the actual study, the genetic
well,
ancestry of the Hadza and
you
Sandawi
know,
peoples.
Brother Afroasiatic, if I ask you to quote the part where it says that Afro-Arabians, and I doubt that your source, does your source say Afro-Arabians, brother?
Yes, it does.
Okay, please read it for me. I mean, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to
All
see
right,
it.
hold on.
And take all the time you want so you can share. And when you're ready to share, I will put the screen, I will put the screen up. But I'll be very surprised that a scholar, a geneticist or historian, wrote Afro-Arabians. And even if he says Afro-Arabians, then I'm looking forward to read that whatever study it is you're talking about, it says that the Afro-Arabians are the progenitors of the Kushites. Now, let me just read the comments in the chat. We have Patrice Lumumba, who wrote, all these MFs want to do is to, I'm sorry, all these people want to do is have endless debates how they are everything except African descent. And then he added, because he can't, is a street corner debater. Okay, well, let's try to, let's try to chill. I mean, I really disagree with the claims of Afro-Asiatics, but we got to try to remain diplomatic. It's best. Now, Thickness, this is our sister M City. How you doing, sister? Peace to you. Now, I don't know if it's a brother or sister. C for Dubai, please call back. I feel guilty now because when I saw you, I wanted to just wait, to let the brother finish his point, and I was going to put you on. So please call back. And in the meantime, I think Afroasiatic is looking for the source. And but in the meantime, I'd rather we talk about anything else because we
Yeah, real
haven't got.
quick. I want
Yes,
to I
go
want
ahead,
to
brother. Go
alert
ahead.
I want to alert the audience to something real quick. Now, notice he said, Brother Shaka asked him, does it say what you are stating? He said, yes. Now, don't pull an author, pull the study. It's a difference. It is a difference. You are supposed to be giving us a scientific study that uses the term Afro-Arabian. You have to show that, not an author that writes a book. You have to give us the scientific study. And by the way, Kush is only biblical. It's only biblical.
That's all good because when he says Kush, and we can clarify with him, and I think most people would agree, when we say Kush, we mean Sudan, So indeed, it is a biblical term, but at the end of the day, I mean, even Semite that derives from Shem, that's it can be considered a biblical term as well, more or less. But really, indeed, Semitic is a linguistic classification. I mean, the etymology, we can say, is biblical. We have Zoltar the Magnificent, who wrote, peace. I don't think Arabs as a community existed before Kush, correct? Maybe Afro-Asiatic, but not Arabian or Afro-Arabian. The first time I ever heard the term Afro-Arabian, it was coming from Western Muhammad when he came up with his book, Black Arabia and the African Origin of Islam, that I read, because for those who don't know, and I don't mean to brag, I'm just stating facts, back in 2011, and I address him mainly because he said, throw Kemet in the garbage can, throw my art in the trash can, throw Amen Ra the slave, making God away. As a matter of fact, some of you might not believe me, so it's only like 1 minute, so let's listen up.
It will be. Let it be a book. Throw Kemet in the garbage can. If you want to get off sensitive, come on, go ahead. About blacks, conquering blacks. Throw Maya in the trash can. Throw out promised rock the slave nation God away.
So you all heard it, you know. And when I spoke to him about that on the phone, he was like, "Oh no, no, I didn't really say that. What I said is if blah blah blah." And I said, "Man, I have the tape, man." You know, and he went like, you know, "Oh, but you know, I did this lecture several times, so you know, it might be more of the time." I mean, it wasn't clear. But here you have the footage, you know, and that footage doesn't come from me, you know. That footage comes from them. It's him talking. So when he said that, that's when I started addressing him because I thought, oh, okay, that's it's like that now. Okay. So um after I addressed him, he challenged me to a public debate and I accepted. And we spoke on the phone. That's when we spoke on the phone about this actually. And we now I can't remember which month it was in the year, but we were thinking about doing the debate at the end of the year. And one day I made a video and I quoted some Arabic speakers who refuted him, and he got angry, and he said he declined. He just ran away from the debate that he challenged me to. So that was the first time I ever heard Afro-Arabians, you know. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he proposes a new term, which is Afrabia, you know. But I said, I think, you know, I'll have to double check and have a look at the book. But I think he proposes the term Afrabia to include the Arabian Peninsula together with the African continent, you know. And besides, Western Muhammad, I mean, I guess in the NOI they have a tradition of making strange or weird claims, but Western Muhammad claims that Ra is Allah. He wrote that in his book. He definitely wrote that in his book of Black Arabia, you know. So before Western Muhammad, I never heard the term Arabian. So I'll be quite surprised to see a scholar, particularly a PhD, using that term, you know. Yeah. Oh boy. Now, can you see me,
Yeah,
brothers and sisters? Okay, yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
yeah. I can't post it right now, brother Shaka.
Why is that?
No, I said I can't post it right now because
What?
I can't get to my laptop right now.
Okay, well,
But
you know, I'm
it's on the brother Chris's channel. And if you look at the if you go back and look at the tape,
no, but
when I put
you need
that,
to. Sorry, I don't mean to sound rude, but you need to present your source. You see,
this is
so whenever
correct.
you're ready,
I
whenever you're ready.
posted. I'm telling. If you give me a second, I posted it. It's on brother Chris's channel, and if you look at it, when I put the source up, that's when Ngozi melted down, because
I understand.
Ngozi is good with rhetoric, but he never shows sources. I do show sources. At
Okay,
that
but
point on the channel, that's when Ngozi melted down when I had the source on the screen.
so are you saying that you posted a source that says Afro Arabians?
Are the parents of Kush? Yes,
Well, I'm
yes.
waiting. I'm waiting.
I
Anytime.
told
You
you,
know,
brother, I can't show the source right now
no,
because I
I
can't
understand. No,
get to my laptop.
no, I understand. I'm not saying
Hmm.
now. I'm
Right.
saying anytime. You know, I'm live
I
streaming on
got
a
you.
regular basis. Yes, yes,
I
anytime.
got you,
Yes,
bro.
definitely.
You know, peace to you.
Um,
Peace to you, brother.
yes, peace,
Shaka.
brother. Peace, brother. Now, Inspired One, hey, how you doing? Feel free want to call if you want to call in, you know. I always prefer when people call in. I don't mind the messages in the chat. So I'm sharing the calling link. We have also Zaltar who added, we are all learning, understanding, and relearning. Let us keep a civil brotherhood as we unfurl. I didn't know that word. Unfurl the scrolls of hidden history and knowledge. Yes, it's always good to try to be diplomatic as much as possible. So Anthony Harris said that Brother Afroasiatic can't provide his source, but we'll see. We'll see later on. And Inspired One wrote, "Thank you, getting ready for the day." All right.
Yeah.
So
Blessings to you, Shaka. Yeah,
Mm.
if you notice, the brother didn't go live ever since that because he was behind the scenes calling me with judges on the phone, calling me every day, asking for more and more sources on it. This was going on. You can look at his channel. You can look at his channel. It's all me and him going back and forth for like a week straight, over pouring over source material over and over again. No other rookie debater has presented more source material to support an argument than myself. All of the other veteran debaters at the league admit that. You know what I mean? That's just the facts. He was calling
Oh.
me with judges on the phone, with all of this extra stuff. You know what I
Yeah, but
mean? Because
brother,
he's afraid. He didn't want to
no,
lose to a rookie.
he's not afraid. I mean,
Yeah, he is
he's there.
afraid.
He's there. So, so I don't need to speak for him. He doesn't need me to defend him. But what we all have seen, and it's not the first time, brother. Whenever we ask you to substantiate what you're saying, there's always something. You see, but I
You
still
can,
give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe next week or
yeah,
next
you
month
can.
you'll be able to
It's
show
all
us.
over his channel. It's all over his channel. It's
Brother,
all
you
over his
Nothing,
channel,
nothing,
man.
nothing you said is
It's
on
on
my
his channel,
channel. Nothing that you
you see,
said
you
is on
see,
my channel that
you see,
brother.
that you made valid. None of your points
you
are
Yo,
see,
valid.
this guy here
because
is a piece of work, brother.
but the thing is this.
Shaka,
Check
you
this out.
cool, Shaka.
Check,
This dude,
no, no, no. I mean, I may be more patient, but you keep saying things that you don't prove, and you
brother,
have to understand that some
it's
people
all
will get
on his channel. Go
but
back and look.
no,
Go support his
well,
channel
but
and look at it. It's all me
hear me
for a
out.
week straight.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Now, you've read the messages in the chat. There's a new one from Inspired One where he wrote, "Respectfully, it sounds like an excuse." And not only I tell you similar things, but many people tell you similar things. And it's a shame. It sounds like you're pretending you're listening, but you're not listening because you saying it's on his channel. He just said
Okay,
nothing that you said is on this
Shaka,
channel.
when can I come back and present it for you? Present that particular source for you, because I
Brother,
can't get to my laptop right now.
well, there's always an excuse. Whenever you can't
No,
get
I'm
on your
asking you a
laptop,
question. I can't get to my
well,
laptop right now. When can I come back and present that particular source for
well,
you?
I'm here for a little while. I can stay there for. I
No,
can
I'm not
stay here.
talking about. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about later because I can't get to my
Well,
laptop.
I don't really schedule the live streams. Whenever I see I have
Right.
some times, and I go
Okay.
live. You see,
I'll
but
show up then, brother. I'll look for you and I'll show up then. But
because
peace to you, brother. Peace
yeah,
to you,
okay,
Shaka.
okay, all right, but okay. Well, since the brother is leaving, I'm not gonna continue saying what I was saying because everybody heard. So we're waiting. We're waiting. So now, brothers and sisters, and you see, brothers and sisters, this is a good example. You see, and you probably understand why many times I address something and I go and I look for the quote or I go and I look for the video. That's because I'm so used to people claiming stuff and they never substantiate it. And I don't want people to think that, okay, maybe when I said that, I couldn't substantiate it. Now, I did mention when I called Brother Polite, that was like maybe 2012. That was the time when he had his radio broadcast. Because I heard him say that Bobby Hamid claimed to have defecated an alien. And that sounds weird. That sounds weird. And so I called and asked him about that. And he told me, yeah, I have it somewhere in my X files. He said that he has some X files just in case some people, the video is there. It's on my channel. If you type in Brother Polite Shakandugu Kemet, you see. And as a matter of fact, I will share the link, And there was okay, let me share the link first because some people will say, oh, he didn't share the link. But you hear me asking him about that. See, and I will see the length. I will see the length to see if it's not too long, then maybe I'll play.
And why do we let me say something real quick. What do the Hadza and Sandawi peoples have to do with Africa as a whole? Okay, so what if they are? How does this change the course of human history in Africa?
can you come again? Can you come again with the brother? I couldn't really hear. Come again, brother, with the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Oh no, I can hear loud and clear, but I just didn't get it. I was like
No,
typing at the
what I'm
same time.
saying is, I noticed, like I said, he does what we call a gish gallop. Anybody can go look up this term, gish galloping. When you ask him a question, he'll present more information that's not even pertaining to the question that you asked in the first place. Now, a gish gallop technique is when you try to overwhelm the questioner with so much information, regardless of the accuracy or the validity of the original question. And it gives the appearance that you're answering the question because you're coming with so much information. There's no significance to the Hadza and the Sandawi peoples to the overall history of Africa. Africa has been around for millions of years. Like, you're just naming two groups of people. Okay. And you understand what I'm saying? And once again, you're misreading something here. And I've never met anybody who you debate and, oh, well, I don't have the source on me. You mention all these authors, and when we go into these books, he mentioned Drusilla Dungeon Houston's work. And the funny thing is, the title of the book alone kills this argument. When you have a book called The Wonderful Ethiopian Empire, and she's speaking in that book how it expanded into the East. Then you read a book by Shank Anti-Joke, The African Origin of Civilization, and you try to pull some Eastern influence up out of there. So the book, the very title of the book is going against your narrative. And the way that people debate versus the way that you're supposed to debate is two different things. You share sources. If your sources are real, as you claim they are, then you would have no problem sharing them. The problem is a lot of people do in this, ghetto debates, these ghetto debates, what they like to do is do gotcha moments, provide a book that you're not aware of. And they say, see here, this is what it says. No, that's not a gotcha moment. That's a confirmation bias. That's what that is.
And we heard our brother say, okay, well, Asiatic Lion, he's in the chat. He's not really happy. He's not really happy. He wrote that you are a liar, and he wrote, respect to you, Shaka. This dude is an intellectual coward.
Well,
Let's try to be diplomatic
now
because
now he's trying to separate the two. They're playing. He's playing this game. Well,
Yeah.
I'm about to get Chris in shock. I'm gonna say he's okay, but Chris is a coward. When Chris was the one that let you on my platform and let you talk, Radio One came on there. Ngozi came on there. Everybody came on there telling. Even a couple of people from the audience jumped on the panel and said, "quote end quote, brother, can you please read what you're saying?" You'll present the article, but then when they ask you, show us what you're saying in this article, you know what he said? Oh, the sources give context clues. Because Melvin is very familiar with genetics. He's what you consider somewhat of an expert on it. Melvin Jefferson. He's part of Team Osiris. He'll sit up there and say, no, it doesn't say that. You're misreading this. You're misreading this. You're misreading this. Listen,
and we went through that as well ourselves, and I have many times, and the things that indeed I agree with you. You see, because when the brother was there, he said he presented so many sources. He said that the guys, he said the name of the guys or the name of their group or their channel that they agreed, and indeed showing so many sources doesn't make your point valid. You see. And it's like a smoke screen, you see, and
yep.
and that's why you see, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, I've shared that video. I've shared the link in the chat of that video where you can hear me asking Brother Polite about that claim, because that claim was very weird to me, and I'm like, I would like to have the record, the evidence. So he couldn't give it to me because he said it's somewhere in his X-Files. Lately, there was what's his name? Enki, Minister Enki, who apparently now goes by the name Dr. Enki. Now, Enki said that Bobby Hemmitt was teaching some anal chakra activation. I have shared the actual footage. You can hear him saying that. And Bobby Hemmett is into metaphysics, so some of you might not be aware of him, but metaphysics to me is weird. You know, for lack of a better word, is weird. So anal chakra activation, that's beyond weird. That's suspect. So I think he got some backlash for saying that, because he even mentioned there's a footage of that. I can't remember if he mentioned Black Dot or something like that, but there's a footage of that somewhere, you know. So what I've noticed is that Enki did a live stream and he was playing stuff from Bobby Hemmett and others, but he couldn't provide the evidence of Bobby Hemmett stating or talking about this chakra stuff. So Enki was saying, you see, when he says that, that's what he's talking about. When he says this, that's what he's talking about. That's not the sign. So maybe there's a footage of Bobby Hemmett talking that anal chakra activation, or maybe he didn't say that. Maybe Enki misquoted him. And if that's the case, it's just simpler. It's easier to say, I misquoted him, you see. Now, talking about something weird, brothers and sisters. You see this glyph here? Now, this is an extended arm, just like that. And that triangle, or what looks like a triangle, is a cone of bread. It represents bread. Will you believe me, brothers and sisters, if I tell you that one guy came up and said that this glyph means Allah? That sounds weird as well. Well, let me show you the result of a weird claim. Let me show you, brothers and sisters. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm looking for the video right now. Now, I will share the screen. You see? Oh, yeah, there it is. I've typed in Allah in pre-dynastic Nubia temple of Ptah. And as you can see, the video was uploaded 12 years ago by this individual. The video has 29,000 views. Right? Now let's listen to that claim.
All right, so let me show you how easy this really is. So
that's just the ad. Okay. Now,
Islam.
The ad is gone. Now let's check the video.
If you know Islam, or if you know Arabic, you know the name of Allah is written Alif Lam Lam Ha Safer. This is Wolof. This is ancient African. This is Alif Lam Lam Ha Safer. This is Allah. But right now, you go to the Quran, you go to the Arabic, they told you this is Arab, this is African, this is Wolof. I translate the Quran into Wolof more efficiently, more perfectly than the Arabs can do. The Quran we're reading, the vocabulary is this time, is old. The modern day Arabs for Arabic Saudi and Yemen, they cannot translate, they cannot explain those words. It's too old. They call it ancient Arab. And when they relate to ancient Arabs, the people, these are the black peoples of the Arabian Peninsula. These are dark-skinned people. And this is the original name of Allah.
You say the name again?
Leaf, Lam, Lam, Ha, Saker. Ha Saker means the Ha of the pyramid. And this is the right hand. Like you're offering power, you're offering strength, it's your right hand. See, the pyramid right there. And your shoulder, your elbow. Leaf, Lam, Lam, Ha, Saker. So you're using your own self. See?
I have a question. Yes. Is there a relation between Walla language and Wahhabi law in Saudi Arabia?
Okay, so for the record, I've oh, hold on, wrong one. Okay, I want to remove the video. For the record, I've refuted that. Okay, and I will share the video because it's important. That's one of the weirdest claim I ever heard in my life. You see, so the title of the video is Allah in pre-dynastic Nubia Temple of Ptah, and my rebuttal is called Allah is not in pre-dynastic Nubia Temple of Ptah. And for the record, that video uploaded 12 years ago has 26,000 views, but I recall that I've said that. So my rebuttal, well, I don't even see my rebuttal there, but somebody uploaded my rebuttal. So, but it was in two parts. Okay, there it is. There it is. That's from my other channel. So I will share it in the chat. Okay. Allah is not in pre-dynastic Nubia Temple of Ptah. That's what I'm sharing now. Now, what happens afterwards, after what we have seen? You heard someone asking him a question and he's answering and all that. Now, that was a Runoko Rashidi tour. And that slick dude with his username Smooth Brother, he should have called himself, he's more of a slick brother than a smooth brother. He, in his description, he says, oh, this was a Runoko Rashidi tour, and he went on many message boards or forums. Yeah, during the Runoko Rashidi tour, that tour guy came in and whatever. This guy made an opportunist move. You understand? Now, brother Chris has left. Can you hear me? Okay, let me check. Can you hear me loud and clear, brothers and sisters? Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. So far, so good. I want to check the sound. That's all. I'll be back. Oh, yes. Thank you, Inspired One. All right. So he advertised that stuff. And some French wannabe Asiatic black men, they did put that video, they embedded that video, you see. Now, when you embed a video, it means that you use the code and the video appears on the website. And that's where the most views came from. So that glyph simply means to give. That's the glyph for give or giving. Brothers and sisters, let's assume that this glyph means Allah, like that guy claimed. Then what does that mean? It means that the name Allah also appears there on this artifact from one of those museums in Italy. How come this guy, who's called Badaranda, by the way, how come he's the only one who says that? The funny thing is that Runoko Rashidi was on a radio broadcast. That Smooth Brother called to ask him about that. Runoko Rashidi said it doesn't say Allah, and if it does, it means someone wrote it. The thing is that Runoko Rashidi back then did not really know so much of the Medu nature, because if he did, he would have known. That glyph appears very, very often. That's the reason why on my videos, when I went to Kemet, many times I showed that glyph. That's the reason why. For those who don't know, many times I pointed towards that glyph. As a matter of fact, I had a video entitled Why Liars Hate Kemet. And I showed also how that glyph appears many times. I even showed where that glyph appears twice, one on top of the other. And I told the people, does it mean that it says Allah, Allah? It doesn't make sense. I even showed that glyph. And then you see this is the loaf of bread, which stands for the sound T, the T. I showed that glyph. You see, we have the quail chick in between. But I showed an artifact where you have that glyph and then you have the loaf of bread. And I asked the question, does it mean that this glyph says a lot? That's one of the most ridiculous claim ever, but it still made 26,000 views. Plenty of people believed it because they don't know any better. Nobody bothered asking someone. Nobody bothered asking an Egyptologist. And to this day, some people still believe in it. You see? Less than before. And that guy, I mean, you can see that in the rebuttal. He went around talking about, oh, no, this is not Medu, this is not hieroglyphic, this is a pyramid text or something like that, as if there was a difference. And you can go back to the live stream or you can go directly to the video because it's still available on YouTube. But the guy said, this is Wolof. He said that. He said this is Wolof. This is Medu or hieroglyphic. But that guy said that this is Wolof. That's one of the most ridiculous statements ever made. But it still made it to 26,000 views. How can this be Wolof? This existed before the Wolof language ever existed on the planet Earth. He said this is Wolof, this is African, and even further, he went further by saying that he can translate the Quran better than the Arabs can. When the Quran is in the Arabic language, you see, this is lack of knowledge, or in the etymological sense of the word, ignorance. But that ignorance made it real far. That's 26,000 views now. But back when it was uploaded, I can't remember if it was 10,000, but that's 12 years ago. When you made those kind of numbers 12 years ago, that was impressive. You see? So this is just an example of people claiming stuff. And sometimes not only is inaccurate, but it's just plain ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense at all. And that guy doesn't even have the integrity to remove his video or to state, okay, I was wrong about that. I try to look for that Badaran Dao on Facebook. It's a very famous name. Many people bear that last name. So I tried many. I never got any reply. Even the guy who makes that funky claim, that funny claim, he's not even pushing that falsehood so much. But the username, Smooth Brother, who once again is anonymous and unidentified, he went all around the world through the World Wide Web advertising this falsehood. And amazingly enough, we have Wesley Mohammed, and I will look for the quote, who this time is not an anonymous and unidentified individual. He's a PhD. He claimed that Ra is Allah. Let me look for the actual quote, just so you can see I'm not making it up. I'm just looking for the slide. I'm just looking for the slide that I prepared. I don't know how long ago. Is it the one there? I will not just do the whole PowerPoint, just the slide. It's loading right now. Moment. Oh, it's not that slide. Okay, hold on. Keep the comments going, brothers and sisters, and feel free to call in as well. If I see you, I will put you on. Okay. I'm scrolling through I know I have it somewhere. That's the end. Where is it? I thought I took the picture and I put it in my slide. If I was at home, I would have shown you. I would have showed you directly from the book. Maybe this one. Oh my goodness. If for those who use PowerPoint, you can understand that when you have a slide, you will not be able to find anything in writing by doing a search, particularly when you have pictures. There it is, I found it. Okay, on the slide. I will share the screen now. We have Zuri Aqua Lauren Nichols. Zuri is probably from the Swahili Nzuri. Karibu, habari gani? Now, feel free to call in. Oh, we have Piccolo-san as well, who wrote, I am the real thought. Oh, I will have to switch to my mobile phone because my battery is about to die. So let me share this and then I will switch to the mobile phone. So, Western Muhammad teaches that the Canaanite deity El is Allah, and you can see that is put that in parentheses, Allah, the black god. That's page 87 of his book. He teaches that Enki is Allah. On page 108 of his book, Black Arabia, he wrote, in other words, an Enki is Allah. All right? Page 111, Western Muhammad wrote, indeed, Ra is undoubtedly an Egyptianization of the Proto-Semitic Allah. Okay? And you will have the picture from his book, Ra. That's page 1116, and I hope you can still see it clear. Yes, okay. Let me remove this. Okay. So page 116, you can see there it says Ra is no doubt the Semitic Allah. He further says Ra had a female complement, Rat, like the Arabic Allah and Allat, the goddess's name is created simply by adding the feminine marker to the god's name. Okay? So thus Allah gives us Ra and Allat gives us Rat. I will stop there. I substantiated what I said. That claim comes from him on his own book, and that's a PhD. So even PhDs can make extremely real claims. I invite everybody to contact a scholar from any website of your choice, any university website of your choice, and ask them, is Ra and Allah the same thing? So let me switch to my mobile phone before my battery dies on the on the laptop. Can you hear me loud and clear, brothers and sisters? But I can hear myself, so this is good enough. Now, oh, that's me. That's okay. Already on. Now, for a strange reason, Piccolo wrote, he is correct and not correct. Okay, all right. Okay. Well, what is he correct about then? But it's difficult to be correct and incorrect at the same time. You probably mean that on one point, about one particular point, he's correct, and about one other particular point, he's incorrect. Feel free to let us know. But there we go. Inspired One is asking, Piccolo-san, please elaborate. So you see, brothers and sisters, we have people who make weird claims all the time, and they can be, well, you know, Muslim Muhammad is a bit special. He's a bit special. He's a bit particular. Particular because he's all over the place, claiming to be a Muslim, but claiming that Allah is a man, M-A-N, which is completely contrary to the teaching, to the Sunnah, to the doctrine of Islam. Completely contrary. Some of you might be Muslim or might have been Muslim before. Feel free to ask any Muslim, and I'm talking Orthodox Muslim, whether they are Sunni or Shiite, or even Sufi. What if I tell you that Allah is a man? That's the way they pronounce it in England, a man. In America, you pronounce it a man. So they will probably tell you it is shirk. That's the word that embodies the principle of association and great sin. And I was told years ago that shirk is the greatest sin in Islam, to make partners with Allah. Anthony Harris wrote, thanks, bro Shaka, I had to go. I understand. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate that, brother. To make partners with Allah is the greatest sin in Islam. I was told that shirk is the only sin that Allah will not forgive. Piccolo-san wrote, it can be more than one thing. It's a form, just like how a male is a form. Okay. But I don't know it all, brothers and sisters. Some people specialize in some particular fields. That's why many times I encourage you all to just go on a university website so you can find the contact details of scholars. And you can choose linguistic, you can use religion, or just history in general. The best bet will most likely be linguistics. You can try religion as well. You can try, for example, a PhD in Islamic study and a PhD in, or a PhD in linguistics and a PhD in Egyptology, and ask. You can even use this live stream and make a screen print of page, I think it was 116, right? And say, well, there is, hello, sir. Hello, lady. I don't mean to trouble you or bother you, but whenever you have time, can you please give me your input on the claim of Wesley Muhammad, PhD, who in his book Black Arabia wrote that Ra is Allah. Thank you so much for answering whenever you will have the time. You can do that. You can do that and see what the answers will be. Now, my advice, if you really take that route, is don't try just one PhD. Try several, because many times they are busy. And some of them might not reply to you because they might feel like, well, the question is funny. Is this someone trolling? You understand what I'm saying? But I'm confident that if you try a few, one will reply to you. Now, that's one option. Another option is to go to the university directly. You know, sometimes they have these, I don't know how you call them in English, but, you know, opening days or open days, probably open days, when you can just visit and speak with some scholars. So you can just ask that question, you know what I'm saying? And you can do the same with everything. I mean, those people, they don't know it all, but they are specialists in their particular field. You understand what I'm saying? And it's good to get validation or at least input or opinion from a specialist or an expert, if you prefer. Now, RP, she wrote, "Good day, everybody. Hello, Shaka. Hotep Senet E. Dua for being here." Brothers and sisters, do you see that sign that kind of looks like a S in an oblique form or shape or direction? That stands for subscriber. So if you decide to join or to become a member, it would appear next to your username. And it goes back to the title of the video. We can still talk about anything as usual. But brothers and sisters, if you want to learn the Medu nature, I'm providing classes and I love it. So feel free. Now, Inspired One wrote, "I am learning more and more about Islam and finding for some Muslims, any disagreement or contrary belief can be met with death threats or severe rebuke." Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And not everybody is the same. But I must tell you, brother Inspired One, that many Muslims don't know about Islam. I remember speaking with this Muslim brother from one African country. And when I told him about Muhammad marrying Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummating the marriage with her when she was 9 years old, he said, "No, that's not true." So obviously he doesn't know about Sahih Bukhari. You see, a lot of Muslims don't really know much about Islam. They just go to the mosque, they pray, they know the prayer position, they know the order of the prayer position, they know how to do now in French we say ablution. I'm not sure if you use that word in English, ablution, but they know how to, clean or wash the proper way, behind the ears, the mouth, and so on, the arms or the forearms, the hands, the feet. But when it comes to the writings, they don't know much. Plenty don't know much. Now, Piccolo son wrote that Ra must know about. Okay, Ra most know about is the sun. Yes, the sun, indeed. And Piccolo added, but the galaxy is also Ra. When the starting reference is in our solar system. Now, Xavier Xia wrote, "Still alive." Who are you talking about, Xavier? Who is still alive? So keep it coming with the comments and ask your questions, brothers and sisters, and really, preferably, just call in. You see, the call-in link is in the chat. Can I share? I'm not sure if I can type in a comment. with my phone right now, I don't think I can. Okay, post comment. I'm not sure it will appear as a link. Okay, but the link is pinned in the chat, which means that if you go all the way to the top, you will see the call link pinned. And I would appreciate if you call in, particularly if you never called before. You don't have to stay long. Just say what's up. Just say hello. Inspired One wrote, "Don't tell Muslims that Petra is the holy place, not Mecca." Now, Xavier Xia wrote, "Living in the U.S. is tough living, so I just tuned in." Well, welcome. Feel free with your questions, brothers and sisters. Now, last time I made a live stream entitled "Sisters, Where Are You?" Nobody called in. I've waited for a while and nobody called in. And there's usually a lot less sisters than brothers. So don't be shy, sisters. You know, feel free to hop in. And if you don't want to call in, sisters, then at least ask your questions, you know. So it's getting slow right now. Should I put an end to the live stream, brothers and sisters? Nobody has any question? Nobody wants to call in? Nobody who has any comment or statements to make in the chat? Because I've been flowing for a little while. I have been flowing for a little while. Now, just in case, if you have not seen the video called Kemet and Ma'at, I really urge you to watch it. I really recommend that you go and watch it. Okay, I will let Xavier finish his statement because he wrote, "I have a friend," so I'm expecting he will add something else. And he is not here. Well, take your time. Just put everything in one comment. Or do as you please, suit yourself. But, you know, I would love for you to talk to him. Well, he's welcome to call in when I'm live streaming. I don't have any particular schedule for the live stream, so the best thing is to subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell. It is also useful to subscribe to my Twitter, and you have the address here. Get into it this way. Here. Well, all my social media anyway is smart forever. Because sometimes when you are when you subscribe to a channel on YouTube, you might not get a notification sometimes. And I'm not saying that it's on purpose. You can understand that they have a very large platform with so many users, so many videos that are being watched at the same time, and notifications to thousands of subscribers. And some subscribers have millions, some channels have millions of subscribers. So we can understand that sometimes not each and every one will be notified. I mean, I have 19,000 subscribers. So subscribing to or following me on Twitter is a good option as well. Because when I'm live streaming, I usually have the habit of informing my followers when I'm live streaming. Now, Xavier wrote, "I have following you for years." Why don't you just call in and say what's up, you know? Why don't you just call in and say what's up? You know, can be brief. Oh, guest. Okay. I have someone who called in. So I'm going to add you to the screen. Peace, brother. Peace, brother.
Yes, blessings. Can you hear me? I was wondering if it's going to be laggy on my end.
I can hear you.
Yes, blessings.
Feel free to speak, brother.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, brother, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yes, I would just wondering, did you understand what I meant by Ra being a construct?
Well, I have an idea, but the main point is that Western Muhammad claims that Ra is actually Allah.
Yeah, yeah, he's correct. But the thing about it is that multiple things are Ra, and the one that he's referring to, because when they say Allah and when they say God as a capital G, they're really talking about the entity that's at the top. Because what people don't understand is that these gods or these entities are within one another, just like how your cells are within you, and just like how we are within the planet, just like how the solar system is within the galaxy. That's why when you're referencing, you need to have a starting reference points for you to really understand what something is, and when you're trying to reference something, because it changes forms depending on where your reference is. Because how can I say, a father, it's like a father and a son is another is a construct as well, because a son can become a father. See what I'm saying? And a father can become a son. They move along as you ascend, as the son ascends, it becomes a father.
But brother, I understand what you're saying, but
Hmm.
no Muslims say that Ra is Allah. No Muslims say that the Sun, Sun, is Allah. And we don't have that in Islamic writing. And
Yeah,
you are
but
free to ask any Muslim, and I don't think you will find one, except Muslim Muhammad, that will say, yes, Ra is Allah.
yeah, because they're too concerned about they're protecting their actual ideas. The whole thing about
So
the
are
Muslim.
you of the opinion that Ra is Allah?
Yeah, I actually know he is, but I know that what they're referencing as Allah, they want to really reference the top God, which is not the sun. There's something bigger than the sun that is bigger. Because what when Christians say God and when Muslims say God, they really want to reference what's bigger than the sun. The sun is very little in comparison. The sun is a God in our perspective because the sun is what created us. But there's something else that created the sun, is what you got to understand. So in relative terms, that's something else that created the sun also indirectly created us. You understand? So that's why it's like I think it's pretty easy to understand from that example right there.
But
It's
you realize you're contradicting yourself, brother, because you're saying that Allah is the sun, and you're saying also that Allah is beyond or above or more important or higher than the sun, that God created the sun.
Mhm.
So how could Allah or God be the sun and at the same time be the entity that created the sun?
Because you have to understand fractal, what is called fractal geometry, and basically because they repeat themselves, because they're within themselves, the whole collection of gods, which Ra will be at the top, is inside of that. So once you move outside of that room, you start at the bottom of the room. So the sun, the bottom of the room is Haru. See, that becomes Ra. So once you move out of the realm of the solar system, the sun is referenced as Haru, which is actually the start. See what I'm saying? And then it moves up until the entity above that, which moved up to the entity of Ra, is Ra. And then when you move out of the galaxy is seen as Haru because there are many galaxies. See what I'm saying? That are going to move up. This is how. So that's why I'm trying to explain to you that what when they reference Ra, when they reference God, and when they're really, because they're not referencing God or Allah from a point of understanding. They're referencing that as a point of faith. They don't really understand what Allah is or what God is, but they know that it's something out there. They don't have any understanding. So that's why they're not going to understand the fractal thing. So what they from an emotional standpoint, if I want to say I want to worship the most high, it obviously it's not going to be the sun. It's going to be whatever's bigger than the sun, the biggest element. But they don't know that. You see what I'm saying? They don't scientifically understand that, so that they just use the construct of Ra or what was it, Allah, and so forth.
You know, brother, are you aware that Muslims say, and it's written in the Quran, which is their main book, are you aware that they're saying that Allah is the Most High, that He's the creator of the universe? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, and he is. That's what I'm trying.
So it shows that for a Muslim, Allah cannot be the son, creator of the universe, which includes the sun. But in assuming you are correct and Western Muhammad are correct, it's a bit strange that 1 billion Muslims are wrong, but 2 individuals, you and Wesley Muhammad, are correct.
Yeah, that's how you get progress, when you gain understanding.
We have a long. So you and Wesley Muhammad understood that, but 1 billion people, including scholars, linguists, scientists, they all got it wrong.
Just like the Wright brothers, who they all call crazy about trying to fly. You understand? Humans develop. Before they develop, they have resistance to the ideas. They like to stay in comfort with the ideas that they have. But in order to learn, in order to develop, you must become uncomfortable, which is moving outside of the ideas that you currently have to understand the greater sense. See what I'm saying? So regular people that want to live in their comfort, and that's what this system traps you by letting you want to live in comfort, because you want to eat, you don't want to do exercise, you don't want to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. So that's how people get trapped in their ideas without. But the whole thing about this, and the whole thing about Muslims and all that stuff, and Islam, we're supposed to be constantly learning. That's the whole thing. Christianity was more of the one where you had to be faithful. But the Muslims were supposed to be studying other religions and everything like that, but that's going to the wayside. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, but brother, sorry. So I just want to ask you: is Enki Allah as well?
Yeah, that's just all it is just a name that somebody else is choosing. You have to. All it is a perspective, a perspective, just like the actual Muslims and the Christians are saying the same thing, just from a different perspective that was created from where their religion sprouted from, which is just like when you look at a pyramid. If you look at a pyramid from one perspective, you would think that you're looking at just a big triangle that's pointing, But once you zoom out, you realize that there's more than just this big triangle. There's other sides, there's other perspectives that you need to put together to see it as in its whole to totality. You understand? To see that it's not just a big triangle.
So as far as you're concerned, the sun is Allah, or Allah is the sun, and Allah is Enki as well. Now, you probably heard of Muhammad, right?
Sorry, who's that?
Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam, the teacher of Elijah Muhammad.
Okay, yes.
Now, is he Allah?
Is he Allah?
Allah? Is he the God Allah?
Oh, he could be, but I don't know for sure. Because humans, like I said, this is just a form. Humans can assume that form as well. The human's form is actually to become a son.
Please give me an example of a man who assumed the form of God.
Well, the one that you call Jesus, me, myself, I'm assuming the form of God.
All right, so are you Allah?
Me? No,
yes.
Not yet. Right now, I am Thoth. But Thoth is also a form of Allah. I reach Allah when I become Ra.
Okay. Is Jesus Allah?
Jesus is just like me, Thoth. He never reached the stage of Allah. Because when you reach the stage of Allah, you're able to solve all these problems. But what Jesus didn't have was the ability to teach the other humans how to become Thoth, how to become just like how he was. See what I'm saying? So that's why he couldn't reach where he needed to reach. That's what this girl was, to try and teach you how to become like him. but he didn't understand what he was fully understood to be able to teach theirs how to become like it. So he made a checkpoint and became a sacrifice.
Okay. Now, is there any human being, or was there any human being that was Allah?
Yes.
Who?
Many, the ones that are up in the stars.
Now, can you give a name?
A name? No, they existed
Yes.
before me.
Okay. Are you aware of any of their names?
No, I'm not aware of any of the names, but I know that I am. I know the path to go to become a Ra.
But okay, you know what you're saying, at least to me, is very, very confusing, because you're saying that Ra is Allah, you're saying that Enki is Allah, you're saying that a human being can be Allah, but Jesus did not really achieve that point, and now you're kind of saying that you are Allah. I mean,
No,
it's
I
very,
haven't
very.
reached that point either. I haven't reached the point. I haven't reached it. I just told you, you get to the point of Ra when you reach to the evolution of Ra. Humans
Okay.
have evolutions. That's like your body actually changes. Just like how you're a child, you're a teenager, and you're an adult. You don't stay one thing. You develop as you learn, you grow. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
As you grow, you
So,
evolve.
but for the record, as far as Muslims are concerned, Allah is the supreme being, the creator of the heavens and the earth. So if you feel like you said yourself, some human beings were or are Allah, that's confusing, because for the Muslims, there's only one God, only one creator.
Right. That's why I tell you they're talking about the top one. You understand? The top one is what contains everything, but they don't fully understand the top one. I'm trying to tell you, reference is very important in our realm
What are your references, brother? What are your references? Since references are important, what are your references?
the evolution of consciousness. That's the reference point. Everything that we see around us is consciousness. Is what I'm trying to show you. And then as that consciousness builds, it goes to the different forms, which forms references for you to see what form consciousness is in, and be able to call it what names they've labeled to that form of consciousness.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a guess. I guess that you are into metaphysics, right?
No, I'm into nature, man. Metaphysics is just nature. That's all it is. I'm even at a point to where I'm past what the Egyptians knew, because all it is just understanding reality. And to understand reality, when you understand reality, you understand your body. If you don't understand your body, you don't understand reality. If you don't understand your body or reality, you don't understand God. That's how you know it. And that's how I know, what form people, because I could see the different forms because I understand the different forms. And when you do that, you're able to produce technology, because that's how everything works. Once you know the form that is before and the form that's after, you know the path that it needs to get to that form, so you can control and guide it, and then produce energy from that. That's how everything is formed.
So all these conversations started with the glyph. Do you also agree that the glyph of the arm extended and the cone of bread on top of the hand, do you also agree that this glyph means Allah?
Oh, I have to see it.
All right. Oh, it's all good. The video is called Allah is Not in Nubia, Temple of Ptah. But whenever you have time, if you go a little bit back during this live stream, I've shown the video.
Yes, I'll rewatch it.
Well, we have Xavier who wrote, I am going to call in, and then Xavier also wrote, I will help. So feel free, Xavier. Now, GameSpace wrote, I'm confused by these guys so far, but I'm following. And we have GameSpace who wrote, hey, brother, it's been a while. Nestle Merat. Okay, Nestle Merat, that's a brother in the Bahamas. in the Bahamas, the Haitian brother. Now, RP wrote, hold on. RP wrote, we put earthly properties on the Creator too much and expect it to be taken as fact. And before that, she wrote, I need someone to explain Atlantis to me one day. Now, Atlantis, and thank you for whoever the caller is. I'm going to put you on the stream in about a few seconds. To me, Atlantis is a fictional place. It's not attested to have ever existed. But let me welcome the individual with the nickname or the username Kemet. Hello, Kemet. Welcome. Feel free to speak.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear you loud and clear? Feel free to speak.
Thank you. Okay. First, I want to just say that I appreciate everything that you have been doing. 100%. I have a full understanding as to what you have been trying to do for the longest. I did say in the chat that I have been following you for a very long time. I'm a little nervous right now, so just give me a little time, because to me, you're somebody of relevance. You know what I mean? Like, I know who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, when you're in front of somebody, like if you're in front of the president of the United States, that's how I kind of feel with you. You know what I mean? That's just the first thing. So I'm a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. You know, okay. I'm not as important as a U.S. president.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know you very well, and I know what you're doing, because if you understood, because you understand, once you got what you have understood to the general population of phenotype Negroids, you have done your job. Now, let's get to some clarifications here. He was talking about Farad Muhammad, the person who has started the Nation of Islam. He has spoken to Elijah Muhammad, and he told this prophet, or this messenger, some stories stemming from Big Head Scientist, which is a story about Yaqub, and a story about Jacob in the Bible, the father of the 12 tribes. I am fully awake. I understand what you have been doing, brother. Again, I'm a little nervous, and I apologize. Once I'm a little calmed down, and maybe I'll show my face and we can get into some stuff. But as far as what I think, how I think, you know, you can help even further is with one item, and it's the ruler. The ruler that's inside those museums. You need to really get into that, because it's the measurement. You have to attach the African culture to the measurement. The ruler is the centimeter. It's all over the ruler. Take the ruler, look at it clearly, man. It's being disguised. You can't see it, okay? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you guys' conversation off. Atlantis, I am so sorry. I understand. I can get to you also, but I really just want to get this point to him, because it's a message that I didn't want to say, you know, in text form, but to him directly.
That's okay. Feel free. Are you actually Xavier?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. Yes, feel free to speak. Continue.
The ruler that's inside the museum is measured out to what unit? Do you know this?
The
ruler.
I can't remember if it's cubic.
Oh, yes, it's the cubit. It's measured out in cubits. Yes, 100%. Okay, it's very, very critical, because once you get into this aspect of mathematics, which is what everyone is claiming, from Moors to the French, who appropriated it in 1972. Okay, I know it like the back of my hand. I know American history. I know African history. I know ancient history. I know ancient historical I know classic, historical. I know it all. I'm with you. I have an understanding. I know about Strappo. I've read his books. I know about Einstein. He's the one that told me, don't get into nothing if you're not going to make it to the end. If you can't finish it to the end, why are you getting in bed with it? I got in bed with African culture and I made it to the end. I understand the measurements of the temples. I understand how they did it. I understand that we didn't have slaves pulling these things, that it was poured in African file and it was created in these mannerisms. I understand that the pyramids right now are not the color that it once was. I understand that they have a dam blocking the water from coming up the Nile. I understand the star that comes around once a year that shows on Khufu's temple. I understand. This message is the message that's been lost with people. They don't understand the stories. They can't feel it because of all of the deception, Mr. Farrakhan, with all the separation from what's being controlled by the fiat system. Yes, I know about currency. Brother, please do me the favor and look at the ruler again. The only way you can attach us to anything that's over there is measurement. This is not no alien. Sorry for those people who are in here and believe that that was an alien thing. It's not. Your measurement is on the ruler. It's being hidden, but you're there. You can see it. Really get into that ruler. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. It's telling stories, having these cross references and all this, it's not going to work. People want evidence. The evidence is in two things. It's in that ruler and it's in the wood that's inside those pyramids. There's wood inside the pyramids. Because if you tell me that if you tell anybody that there's wood inside the pyramids, they're going to be crazy. There's wood in there. And nature doesn't do that. Okay, nature doesn't do that. Nature doesn't mix wood like that. Not in the middle of some shit. If there was a piece of paper, you could take a piece of paper and slide it in between that. I would probably say, oh, it's fine. But this is ancient times, bro. This it's not moving that wood. Now, there's a couple of stories that you could get into that would help also. Sodom and Gomorrah is one of them. Sodom and Gomorrah is a great story. I believe that everyone should really get into. I believe location, learning about where that location is today. Actually, I'm sorry if this is not working. I'm gonna leave it. Sodom and Gomorrah is a place that we should be getting into today. We should be looking into that. They actually just claimed that they found the site as to where this place existed at one point, and it's called Tal Hamed. Tahal Lamed, I believe. I'm not really good with my accent with this, but they found a place that it's in actually Iran, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous again on you guys. I'm looking at you. I can't believe I'm actually talking to you, man. Like, yo, it's a pleasure. Like, you have no clue. I listen to you, bro. Trust me, I do. And someone gave me a video of you. And like, the website I'm talking about, this was a long time ago. This website, you must have put this, you put this thing up a long time ago. If it wasn't you, then somebody else did it before you. But I don't believe that because I remember your flag you have here. It's on my screen right now. That flag you have on the top right corner, that's African with the African map. You've had that for a while, but you had it with the green and red and
yes, indeed. 17 years ago. My website.
Okay, so it's you, 100%. So we talk about in the 90s.
No. 2004.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds even still right because I came home in 2000. Yeah, you're right. Even still, yeah. Yeah, meaning I came from penitentiary, not affiliated. Just I've done my faults. Okay, so here, let me just ease some pains with some people because I want to help out. All right, so let's start with this. We'll start with the atom, right? Adam and Eve, the atom, right? We'll make those just two correlations, just real quick, just briefly, just so you can have an understanding of where it's connected to African and its lifestyle. An atom. We understood this a long time ago, just how we understood how to make concrete, magnifying glasses, toilets, units of measure, everything that exists. Solar. Get that. We won't even get into the solar guard because that one hurts a lot of people's feelings. So we'll just get into what a lot of stuff that we have gotten ourselves into prior to today, that everyone's claiming that didn't exist, that they created themselves. So an atom. How many atoms are in a human body? I'll help you. There are 6.5 octillion in the average human being. Octillion, that's 26 zeros. Now, our people understood this. Just how they understood the stars. They understood anatomy very well. And because they understood that, they always asked the question, how are those atoms going to influence you today? So here, right before you die, they take
brother,
a defibrillator to your chest.
Please try to.
They take electric.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Try to get to the point so I can give a chance to our brother Thought the Atlantean to also say this piece. So
okay, fair enough. I won't even get into it. Because I know that it's a little bit of a long one. I'll anybody with questions, you guys can definitely go.
Okay, well, stay with us, brother. Go ahead, Thought. Maybe you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Yes, go ahead.
There's really no need for the ruler, because I am Thoth. Because I became Thoth before I was Thoth. I was a computer programmer. So as I was becoming Thoth, I took a step back and analyzed what was happening to me. Just like how you analyze programming, and this is how I came to the deductions how I became Thoth. And one of the main things is this next ascension for humans is to rise up on their toes. You have to balance. When you rise up on your toes, it gives you the strength of a 20-year-old. If you're 40, you will gain the strength of a 20-year-old. This is the real strength from humans. And what that does is that allows you to build your spirit, which is your breath. So the Holy Spirit is the air around you. When you're able to take that in and hold it, the longer you can run, the more spirit you could hold. The more spirit you could hold, the more your blood vessels build up and you become stronger. But the whole thing about it is that's how you get to the knowledge. You have to study. You have to study science. You have to study everything. And then what happens is that same construct that I explained to you, the reason why I can know how everything works is because when you understand Ra and the other gods, you're able to see the different realms because they're always the same. That's like how I tell you the Ra is and once you know the functionality of one of the gods and you identify that god in a higher realm or a lower realm, you're able to understand the functionality of that god in the room that it is. It's just like when you look at a car and you say, "Oh, look at this car. It has a round thing on it. That's a wheel." Okay. So this wheel has like a center point which builds an axis and it carries the weight and allows it to roll. Okay, so I understand the construct of a wheel. So anywhere now, if I want to go and learn about a bike now, because it's using the same construct as a car, I automatically know about the functionality of this round thing that's on this bike. You understand? Because it fits the same criteria. So I identify Ra. I know the qualities of Ra, so I can use that to understand the rest of the functionality of the entity, which is the bike. That's going to be my base to understand the functionality of the bike because I understand the functionality of the wheel that I understood previously on the car. two different realms, two different things, but they have the same function. This is how we learn as humans. This is the only reason why we're able to learn, because everything is doing the same thing. See what I'm saying? And this is how they tell the future. This is how they do everything. It's all by understanding the development of God. It starts from nothing, and then consciousness builds upon itself with water and space until it reaches our level of consciousness, which you get free will, the ability to understand and act on which path you want to choose. And then we go even higher than that, but it's real simple. There's no need to prove anything to anyone. You yourself could awaken yourself. All it requires is just study. Once you start to study things, you're going to start to pick up on the patterns, and then be able to learn even faster. And then the more you learn, the easier it is to learn. And all you have to do is never leave things unanswered. You always want to question everything, because what happens is that your mind is like a pack of wolves that is searching for this knowledge. And then once one wolf finds something it doesn't understand, it signals to the pack, I found something I don't understand. And then the leader of the pack needs to understand that, because if he doesn't understand that, the next time the wolves are patrolling again, they're just going to stop at that same thing and not go any further. So that's why you need to, you never leave anything questioned. You always get the answers to everything, so that next time when it passes that, it walks right past it and goes deeper for you to get something else to understand.
Mm-hmm. Brother, can you remind me, in which island you are located?
I'm in Bermuda.
Well,
Bermuda,
I don't know.
Bermuda is.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if you've seen, but yesterday we had a brother from Bermuda. Oh, yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. Because I thought he was the first one calling from Bermuda, but he's actually, well, it's the first time you're calling. You're Piccolo's son, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You used to be on the live stream, but yeah, we had a brother. He's quite mature or old, let's say, and he was telling us about the different Pan-African movements. You know, they had a Congress, and you know, he told us about Dr. Ben, if I'm not mistaken, getting there, and he mentioned John Henry Clark, but I can't remember if he was there as well. But yeah, it's quite interesting. You know, we have two brothers so far who called in from Bermuda. Xavier, may I ask where you are located? You're probably in the U.S., but like the state, or if you don't mind, the city. But if you don't want to say the city, you can just say that. Oh, you're in New York. Okay, you're in NY. All right. Now, I just want to tell Michael Hendricks that I don't understand his question. Is it gods or god heads? Now, I mean, the term goddess was used, the feminine of gods, but god heads, I don't really know. I don't really understand the question. But brothers and sisters, is there anyone who wants to learn the Medu lecture? Feel free in the chat. Feel free to call in. I mean, I had people asking me about it, but now it's on and popping. You know, I'm giving lessons, but the group thing is much cheaper than a one-on-one session, because the one-on-one session is $10 for an hour. But the membership is like less than $20 per month, and because I do one class per week, I mean, if someone takes a class and I give him a lesson, the next lesson will be the following week, because 1 week is the appropriate period to study and practice and go through the vocabulary that I send. So that means that if we consider that there's 4 weeks in a month, there's a few months I have 5 weeks, but if we consider that there's 4 weeks in a month, you'll basically get 4 classes for less than $20. But that's for the group classes. However, because I started this thing recently, some of you will be lucky, because depending on the availability that you have and that we agree on, you might end up being the only one in the class. You understand what I'm saying? So if we have 2 or 3 people or 5 people, that will be 10 maximum. If let's say we have 5, well, okay, 1 to 10 people who are in the same, well, they don't have to be in the same geographic location. If let's say we have 1 to 10 people who can make it at a particular time slot that we agree on, then that will be the amount of people who are okay for that time slot. But other people, it might not be suitable for other people, and I'm very flexible. You know, even though I'm located in Europe, I can do the classes in the evening time, and in some cases I'm even ready to do it in the morning time. Which I did once with a sister that is in Kenya now. She was in England before. So, brothers and sisters, you know, think about it. You know, I've been studying the Medu letter for a long time, and I can really introduce you and enable you to be able to read directly from artifacts. Now, let me just go through this question here. Michael Hendricks wrote, and so the different names like Ra, Ptah, etc., is that two gods or two manifestations of one God? Those are two names. And in Kemet, they at some point associated deities. The most famous example is Amen-Ra. Amen is one deity or God, and Ra also is one God, but at one point they combined the two. And you also have if I'm not mistaken, is Ptah, Soker, Osiris, you see. So in some instances, you had a couple of gods or more that some people decided to combine, let's say. And some people say that gods are attributes, but then again, interpretation is something that, you know, everybody can engage in. But when it comes to the actual name, the actual word, the actual glyph, Ra is one and Ptah is another. There's some other kind of association or combining, if that's the word, and that is associating the word Hotep with a deity. And I'm sure many of you have heard of the name Amenhotep. Now, there were a few, but the most famous one is Amenhotep III, who is Akhenaten's father. So that makes him Tutankhamun's grandfather. Now, of course, some people, a few scholars wonder if Tutankhamun was not actually Akhenaten's brother rather than his son. But what's for sure is that they are related. They share the same bloodline. So most people, as far as most people are concerned, Amenhotep III, the husband of Queen T, he is the father of Akhenaten, and Akhenaten is the father of Tutankhamun, that in America people like to call King Tut. Yes. So, well, brothers, how do you feel about the Medu lecture, brothers? Brother Xavier and Brother Piccolo-san.
Oh, what do you mean about how do I feel about it?
Because some people, for example, feel like it hasn't been deciphered.
Oh no, I understand the images. I could read the images that are on the pyramid. So because you have to understand the images are using the same construct of reality, the same construct of nature. So once you're able to identify the things that are in nature, you could read what's inside the pyramids as far as the images are concerned. The images contain multiple layers of information, just like how I explained to you about the wheel on the bike and the car. It's the same thing. When those two names is what you're saying, they are properties. For example, in the example of the bike and the car, the say one of the defining the most prominent feature of Ra, in reference, if I was to call the wheel Ra, if I say the main prominent feature of Ra is its roundness, right? And then I wanted to go on, I want to reference Ra. I see something else that's round on another thing, but it's not quite a wheel. Say it's a sphere. So think of it, it's a wheel, but it's a sphere. It's like one of those things that you use at the beach and it has like a pedal thing. I don't know if you see them. It's like these 3-wheeled bikes that like have some big wheels. Those are wheels too, but they don't look like regular wheels. They're like big, like a glove, like 3 globes on a bike. Basically, you would call that something that you to denote that it has the qualities of a wheel, but it's not quite a wheel. It has a different quality of some other properties that are not how can I say, that are not, I want to say unique, but they're not from the actual base entity Ra. These are new properties. So you have to concatenate the primary property, the rawness. So you say Ra, and then whatever entity describes the fullness of that's added onto that wheel to make it what it is. You concatenate that name, and that will be the name of that new type of wheel. That's what's happening there. Because what you need to understand, all the gods, they're all one. Like, it's just that they split them because they're inside of one another. In order for that to happen, they have to split themselves up in order for there to be more than one God. There's only one God, but to understand the properties and to become separate entities like you and me now, it has to split itself up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you get the other gods, which it's splitting itself up from what it was to become what it is. Because Barashaka, you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Thank you. Yes, I was muted. Thank you for that. I understand what you're saying. Other people are saying as well that there's only one God and he has many attributes. And that goes to the point that Michael Hendricks made. He wrote in the Bible there are several names of God in Hebrew, and it's understood that there is different names as manifestations of the one. Like in Islam, the Muslims say God has many names. Now, as far as Muslims are concerned, they don't say he has many names. Well, okay, you can say names if you want, but they are really attributes. You see, so some people would say there's the 99 attributes or 99 names of Allah, but when it comes to the Hebrew, there is Yahweh that in English is rendered as Jehovah, and there is also Elohim. But what people need to know, and they can ask scholars of the Bible, there are several sources. They are called like J source. They bear a letter, but the letter is how do you say, an abbreviation? Because people have realized that in the Bible, they could tell that there were 7 different authors in the Old Testament. And that's what scholars sometimes will say, okay, this is J source. I forgot the other letters, but they are like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 different sources. And I'm not sure if they can tell by the way they refer to God. It might be that, but overall the style, the words used, but I think mainly is the way they refer to God. Now, Elohim is the plural of God, so it's like saying gods. Yahweh, I don't know how it can be translated as. I don't think people are really sure what it's translated as. So it is correct. There's 2 instances, you see. However, we could add another one. Now, I don't think in the Bible it says, okay, this is God, but that is El. And El is actually the Canaanite deity, the supreme God or the supreme Canaanite deities, because the Canaanites had several gods. And we hear that name in, for example, Emmanuel. We are told in the Bible, okay, you shall name it, you shall call him or name him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. So the Bible itself says that. And El appears in many other names, you see. Now, I'm pretty sure Samuel, at the end, that must be the El. We have Gabriel. So people can look it up. So we could say that for God, we do have Yahweh, Elohim, and we have El as well. However, Once again, I don't recall the Bible saying, okay, our God or the God of the children of Israel is El. You see? What's for sure is that we mainly have Yahweh and Elohim. But Elohim is a clue to show that they were polytheists. And not only that they were, but even the writers were polytheists, because once again, that's a plural. I don't speak Hebrew, but you can ask any Hebrew speakers. Now, they like to say it's a plural, but it's some form of respect, or it's a special form and whatever. But when it goes down to the language, when it ends in im or yim, however they pronounce it, but the ending of Elohim, that's a plural. Besides, take heed to what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. I told you about the El. Well, guess what? Elohim, El, Elo, it's the same. It's the same root. That's from the Canaanite deity El. You see? So linguistics help a lot to understand culture, because I usually say language is the heart of a culture. Now, Michael wrote El Elyon, Jehovah Elohim. Now Elyon and Sabaoth, I'm not aware of those names. And Michael Hendricks also wrote, in the New Testament, it says God is a son. Yes, I've quoted that in the video Kemet and Ma'at. There is a passage in the Bible that says the Lord is a son and a shield. As a matter of fact, when we use the term Lord, that was chosen at some point for the word God, you see? So that's when they came up with the English translation, and maybe before the English, maybe through the German. But to answer RP, who's asking, how do you know what the glyph says? Thought. How do you read them? So here's a question for you, brother. How do you read the glyphs? Because it sounds to me like you're making interpretation, but you don't actually know the phonetic values, do you? You're muted, brother.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, what the glyphs I'm talking about the actual images themselves. So the images that you see, like what is the book of common, the actual depictions of what's going on. The way how you read, and I think I shared this with you already, Brother Shaka, when we first had our meeting. It's basically you have to learn how to talk. You have to communicate without words. That's the whole thing. You have to understand intentions without words, and it's something that humans do subconsciously already. You just gotta tune it in and be able to understand it and consciously. And the first step is because this whole thing, you have to purify your blood. To purify your blood, you have to control your emotions. Your emotions control your emotions put chemicals inside your blood that's produced by your liver. That's what your emotions are. See, they call it hormone.
Hold on, brother. I'm sorry that I interrupt you, but I must state for the record that those glyphs actually have phonetic values. You see, now some glyphs actually have a meaning. For example, there is one where you have a man. He can be standing up or seated, and he holds some sort of jar and water coming down. That's for Wab. Wab can mean priest or pure, because you had some Wab priests, so like priests of purifications or something to that effect. So some glyphs like or the dung beetle or the scarab, it stands for keper or keper, which means to become or to manifest, you see. And that's why when we have the name keper kara, that can be translated as the manifestation of the ka, meaning the spirit, the manifestation of the spirit of Ra. So some glyphs actually have a particular meaning. Other glyphs, which are the uniliterals, as well as biliterals and triliterals, but the uniliterals are glyphs that stand for one phonetic value. So those glyphs combine will spell a word which will have a meaning. And one example for that, Aten, Ak and Aten. Aten is a deity or god. So Aten can be written solely with uniliterals. You will have the reed leaf that stands for the sound E. You will have the loaf of bread that I shown earlier, which stands for the sound T, and or the sound T, that we call T in English, of course, and the water wave or the ripple of water that stands for the sound N. So E10, you see. And on top of that, you can have the sun disk or the solar disk used as a determinative or an ideogram. So I just wanted to just let you and the audience know about that. They do indeed have phonetic values. I mean, I understand that some people will make interpretation when they see the glyphs, but those glyphs, there is actually a very detailed grammar. It's really a language like other languages. You know, you have the feminine, the masculine, the plural, you have the present, you have the past tense as well. So there is indeed vocabulary and a very precise grammar.
Yes, that's good, Brother Shaka. See, what just happened just a while ago? Just by you talking there, now I understand what language is. See, what language is exactly what I was explaining with the bike and the car, how you concatenating properties. So that's what these things are. They're concatenating properties. So each phonetic thing has a property. Plural is a property. So each word is an entity. So to make a new word, you shit. See, this is the beautiful of when you understand how to learn. You understand what a wheel is, and then be able to identify it. So that's what I just did, just by listening to you talk. By here, what I just said about the wheel and all that stuff, I realized that that's the same mechanism that's happening. What you just explained with the words, where this word has a property and this word has a property. If I want to explain those properties together, I put them together. Yeah, that's
Understand, brother, just to be more precise, those uniliterals, and for those who want to see them, you have the name of the website in the middle, afrostyly.com. You can add /Gardiner, GARDINER. You will have a full hieroglyphic sign list, and if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you will see those uniliterals. You will see a chart that might be labeled hieroglyphic alphabet. Put that in quotation. So there you will see those different glyphs that have phonetic value. They are not actually attributes, but they have phonetic values or sound, you know. So the vulture is the sound ah. The arm is the sound ah, but it's a glottal ah. The leg is the sound b. You see, because some of you might have heard Ankh Uja Seneb. Well, Seneb can be also written with 3 uniliterals. The folded cloth, which is the sound S, like I said earlier, the water wave or ripple of water, that stands for the sound N, and then finally the leg, that stands for the sound B. So SNB, Seneb, you see?
Excellent. So now I know how to create things using words now. Exactly what you said, because I understand that everything is vibration, and because you denoted that the words are actually vibrations. I understand they are vibrations, but they also are properties. And what happens is that when you add if you drop a drop of water and then drop another water inside still pouring, the vibrations collect and concatenate and make a new vibration. And but I hope it.
Yeah, and just let me just let me ask, Brother Xavier, what is your take on the Medu letter? Do you feel like it has been deciphered?
I don't feel like it's. I feel like. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I'm kind of like on the fence about it, but I don't feel like it's been fully deciphered. So here's my my intake. Here's my take on it. I don't know the. I have I listen to you when you speak about languages, but I don't know too many languages other than American, and I don't even know that one too well. So over here, everything is a lot more fast paced. So the time that I have to study for anything, it's very critical. So I'm very, very into like the science of our culture, because I believe, and from from myself, and how I've gotten my information all the way to where I've gotten to you. The only reason why I say what I say is because it matches to what you're saying. Nature from my end matches up to how your phonetics, how you explain what's being told, explained. So that's my take on it. As far as like, different gods and stuff, and, Ra, I cold-heartedly believe that these people were, one, they were human. That's the first thing that I like to everybody. I would like to let myself know that I believe that they were human, and we gave them entitlement because of their vast knowledge. I'm talking about if you just look at the title of Thoth, right? Like his title and what he was able to do, right? Like as far as chemistry and creating gold, and there's a lot of stuff that that the deities were able to do, right? So that's the first thing. Like I got really, really, really in tune with like that kind of stuff, all the way down to wanting to know what they knew. So when it came down to like the anatomy, the body, that was the first thing I needed to know. Chakras. How do you? I'm very patient. You see, I sat here, I listened to everything you guys said. I promise you, I'm super patient. I was just nervous in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm really patient. I do have a very, very keen ear, and this is very, very fun for me to be able to take what I know and have to tell you guys how from my end, my perspective, and also tie you guys in what you're saying into what I'm saying. But I will say this. When it comes to biblical facts, like anything that comes from each book, there was one episode that you put up one. I cannot find it. I try to show it to as many Muslims as I can, not in a disrespectful manner, because anyone who knows me personally knows that, one, I wouldn't tell them this. If I met you off the street, I wouldn't say this. So obviously, my friend, I have to have a friendship with you. So the first thing I would say is like, I would refer them to you. Like, is there anything in the Torah or the Tawhid that makes the phenotype Negroid sound like anything negative in that book? So I would try to refer them to your video, which I would love for you to post up here, because I can't find it. I tried to find it in your, because I noticed it's on your website.
What can we see on that video? Like what do you remember?
I remember exactly that you were explaining that you showed 3 books. You showed the Tawhid, I believe, which had.
Do you mean the Talmud?
Was it Talmud?
Is it the Curse of Talmud?
You showed one book of the Talmud where it had the English version, and then you had it in Arabic. Then you had it in another version where it was full Arabic, but written in a different mannerisms. Well, here, this is what you were referring to. You were saying, what does this word mean? He was pointing at it, and you kept asking them, what does this word mean in this book? Ask anyone who's Muslim to read this word, and the word means Negro or nigger in Arabic. That was the.
Maybe it was not my video, but I do have an article, and I'm quoting Hadith. Well, this is just the description.
I think he was having with somebody.
Okay, well, this. Well, I don't remember exactly which one it is, but I usually go through the Arabic indeed when it comes to the physical description of Prophet Muhammad. because there are plenty of description of him, and he's described as white all the time.
Yes.
So I have this article where I quote Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abu Dawud. Those are just hadith literature, but many people are not aware of those. So
That's
once again,
my point right there. You hear what you just said? That's that right there. Many people are not aware of not even the fact that the person who created this cult, this religion, is of a different phenotype. Is someone who is saying that they are supposed, so there's your mind playing tricks on you there. You can play with that one however people choose to. I choose to not to play with it. I don't even, whenever I discuss it, I try to refer them to you and what you had up on. I actually have the picture in my phone of your finger pointing at the actual I swear to you.
Oh, okay. What are you using your phone right now, or are you using a PC?
I'm on my tower right now, but I'm gonna go on my Facebook real quick because I actually
you can share it so I can see it. I can.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yes. Give me a couple
Yeah,
seconds.
I don't know if you see at the bottom. It should say, hold on.
Are you referring to are you referring to the SteamYard? Or are you referring to
the StreamYard? I mean, I don't have it because I'm using my mobile phone, but well, I can see it if I use a desktop version. But at the bottom, it should say like share screen, something like that, or screen share. And this will allow you to share, and then I will be notified, and I will validate, and it will appear so everybody can see.
But I love the fact that you said that. I love the fact. No problem.
Yeah. So just try to do that and see how far it goes. In the meantime, for the people who are not aware, the hadith are narrations of the companions of the prophets and people who knew them or spoke to them. So those are the deeds and the actions, the sayings of Prophet Muhammad as reported by his companions. So they have different classifications depending on their chains of tradition that they call isnad in Arabic. So if the chain of tradition is considered to be reliable, then the hadith will have the qualification of sahih, which is an Arabic word that can be translated as authentic. And that's why we have the hadith collection called Sahih Bukhari or Bukhari, as they say in Arabic. That's the name of the Imam who combined or collected these different narrations or hadith. So it bears the name Sahih Bukhari because it is considered to be authentic or reliable. So you have, I think, 6 collections of hadith that are considered authentic, and there's 2 who actually have the word Sahih. That's Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. So all this to say that after the Quran, for Muslims worldwide, the most important book is Sahih Bukhari. So in Sahih Bukhari, that not many Muslims will refute, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Prophet of Islam, is described as white. There's a mention of his white cheek, of his white arm, of his white leg, of his white stomach. So all the way is described as white, and the word for white in Arabic, for those who don't know, is abyad. So feel free to ask any Arabic speakers. And what happened lately, and Wesley Muhammad is one of them, is that we have some people who came up and try to claim that the word abyad doesn't mean white, but it actually means black, which is really weird. But I explained that. It's on my website. Once again, you see here, it says afrostudy.com. You add /English, or basically, actually.
Yes, that's the video right there. That's the one.
Okay.
You're explaining right there.
Yes, if you can share it so I can show it to the people. But on the description of this video, you should see color of the Arabs of the 7th century according to Islamic sources. So you can just click on this and you will have an article first with the quotes of the different hadith describing Prophet Muhammad as white, and you have some bonuses as well, and then you will have a section explaining why some people claim that Prophet Muhammad was black. So it can be a bit complicated if you hear me talking about it, but the article is very detailed, so you will get some understanding. And understand one thing, brothers and sisters, I'm not a PhD. I'm not fluent in Arabic. I never claimed to be fluent, but I know a little some. You know, I've studied it. And the PhD in Islamic study who makes that claim of a black Prophet Muhammad, not only black, but jet black, he challenged me to a public debate, and I accepted back in 2011. That was 10 years ago. So when I accepted, he backed down. So I can safely say, without bragging, that I know this topic. I know this topic.
This is the one. Yep, this is the one. This is the one I was referring to, and this is the one I was. Yes.
But is it possible for you to share it?
Yep.
Is it possible for you to share it on StreamYard?
It's a picture on my. I don't know. It's a picture I took of it because I tried to show people that
okay.
Well, it's only a picture on my Facebook. That's why it's hard for me to like. I don't know.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
I mean, I could share it in this room. I think.
You should be able to. I mean, if you just click on share or screen share. I don't know exactly how it's worded.
That's the problem.
And then I'm sorry.
I don't see the screen share button.
Oh, really?
I see it now. It's right at the bottom in the front. Okay, cool. All right, give me 1 second. Got you. Okay, cool. Fine,
and then you have the opportunity to choose the particular tab of your web browser, and then you can choose that tab where the picture is showing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want, you can share your whole screen, but it's best to just share the tab. Yes.
Once I get into it, give me 1 second. I'm not really.
Now, while you're looking for it, let me just go through the comments that were posted. Now, we have Johnny Sadler who wrote, "Is it possible that the internal nature of the Medu Neter, like other religious literature, has been fully understood or deciphered?" Now, I want to state that the Medu Neter is not like other religious literature, because the religious literature don't have one particular language associated with them. I mean, I can understand some people will say, well, when it comes to Judaism, the main language is Hebrew, but a lot of time, the remnants of the Bible that we have actually come from Greek, and they translated from Greek to Hebrew. Now, I'm not saying there were no Hebrew texts, but the Medu Neter, we have the originals, okay? So that's the one thing, to make the distinction between the religious literature and the Medu Neter, because the Medu Neter being a writing or a language also, some people might dispute that, but the Medu Neter can be used for religious literature or spiritual literature. Some people don't like the word religious, but it also describes historical events. So is it possible that it has not been fully understood? Yes, just like the Hebrew might not be fully understood. And you can do the test, brothers and sisters. Look for any Hebrew scholar. You can just type Hebrew studies or Jewish studies, and go to university websites, pick a few scholars and ask them, how do we pronounce the word Yahweh? Because as we know, Yahweh, it is spelled, at least in English, with the Y, the H, the WH, or something like that. So you will realize that scholars don't necessarily agree because they don't really know how it was spelled, you see? So it's a case that for the name of the supreme God, the supreme deity, the creator of the heaven and the earth, they don't even know how his name is pronounced, you see? But nobody says that the Hebrew has not been deciphered, you see? So whenever someone says fully understood or fully deciphered, it's like, okay, do we know 100% what every word means? And people should know, I'm sure, that people know how close the Hebrew and the Aramaic are, you see? And some people will say that Hebrew derives from Aramaic, that Hebrew is a dialect of Aramaic. So even when it comes to the Aramaic, I don't think that people will know the etymology or the meaning of each and every word. But I will leave it there. Now, further, Johnny Sadler wrote, sorry, has not been fully understood. So I would say that the meta nature is understood. And one thing that is a bit particular, we have some people who claim that the meta nature has not been deciphered. But yeah, they talk about Kemet, they talk about ancient Egypt. They say such and such pharaoh did this and did that. And we have a little bit of writing from the Greeks because they were there at the time when the hieroglyphic was still used. But for the most part, the reason why we know about kings and what they did and when they were born and who they married and when they died and who succeeded them, who was there before them, and not just for the kings, because we also have events for common people, people who were not royals, workers, priests. The main reason is because of the Medu Neter. So to me, it doesn't make sense when people say the Medu Neter has not been deciphered, but they say, okay, that king and this is what he did, and the Hyksos came and invaded and attacked. Where do you think we got it from? We got it from the Medu Neter. And one example, I have shared that, but it is in the book also. Is it Wilkinson? But I made a video about that. And it also appears in a documentary. I forgot the title. You know, I had a private network. I used to share them. But anyway, if people want to challenge me on that, I have the slide ready. I can share it again. There is a piece. Yes, brother.
How's it going? I think I got it up for you there.
Well, it does not appear. So if you try to share.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it again.
Okay, hold on. I will put.
I'll share it again. I'll do it again. I got it. I know. I understand it now. Just give me a couple of seconds. I got it. I understood exactly every word you said when you explained it the first time. There you go. That's your finger.
I had to put the PC version. So now, oh no, this one is very old. This one is okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, this one that was a very long time ago. I addressed someone who goes by the name Christian Prince. He's the author of a book called The Deception of Allah. Now, it's very simple. He once came in on a radio broadcast talking about black issues, and he said,
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that am I false in my claim or am I correct?
Well, it depends. What is your claim?
Well, all it's simple. It's just that there's in the books, in the Quran or one of the Torah or one of the books, there's a word that's being used that should not be in the book. That's not in any. I haven't seen it in a Hebrew book. I haven't seen it in a Christian book. I haven't seen it in any other book but this book. And this is why this book is special to me. And this is why your claim is so special to me. Because it takes a word that's not in any other book and puts it in this book.
Well, to make the long story short, this video here, it might still be online. If you type in Ma'at Forever Christian Prince, this guy, he's from an Arabic country. He's fluent in Arabic because he grew up in this environment. But we don't know who he is because he's anonymous, and it's a bit understandable because he refused the Quran and the Islamic faith. So, and he goes very harshly against the Muslims. So his life could potentially be in danger if he ever travels to those countries, and even if he remains in the West. But he just basically called that radio broadcast talking about black issues, and he said, well, you know what I'm saying, Islam is against Africans, and in the Quran it says, you know, slave for slave or whatever. So when I looked it up, I looked at the passage he was talking about, and he doesn't mention black people. You see, because he mentioned something about the Quran talking about black people being slave. I can't remember exactly the wording, but in the video I mentioned it because that video is like over 10 years old. So, oh, I think, yeah, about 10 years old. I think it's 10 years old. So when I look at the passage, it doesn't mention the word for black. It mentioned the word abid, which means slave. Some people translate it as servant. So I made a video to tell him, look, he doesn't say that. So he responded to me in one of his videos, and he quoted several hadith. Now, the hadith, that's something else. You see, that's narrations, that's not the Quran. When you come and say, in the Quran, it says such and such, it says this about black people, if it doesn't say so in the Quran, you just shouldn't me that you're wrong. But he speaks Arabic better than me. You understand what I'm saying? So I called his radio broadcast to talk to him about it, and he was very condescending and disrespectful. And the video is there. It's called Christian Prince Defeated by Shagad Nugu Kemet. So he called me all sorts of different names, not really profanity, but he was really weird. So yes, that's just the backstory about it. So it is true, however, that in the Muslim, well, should I say the Muslim world, in many Arabic-speaking country, they use the term abid to denote black people. Because remember, etymologically, abid means slave or servant. So that's the word they use for black people. It's like an equivalent of the N word, you see?
That's
It's a
my
reality.
point.
Yes,
That's
it's a
all my
reality.
point was.
Yes, it's a reality.
Hey, brother Shaka.
Yes, brother.
Brother Shaka.
Yes.
Hey, peace. Great show, by the way. Great show. Good content. I'd like to ask the gentleman that is speaking right now. I was listening to him when he said that the Medu Neter has not been deciphered, and he went on to say that he believes the Medu Neter has not been deciphered, but he never explained why it has not been deciphered. When I'm a little confused here because we get the name of Ramses in Medu Neter. And yet they knew his name was Usa Ma'at Ra, Septepen Ra, Ramesu Miriam, the third, first, second, or fourth. So how is it when we say that it has not been deciphered, but yet we have all these names of pharaohs, or the Hyksos, for instance, as Brother Shaka cleverly pointed out? How are these names and titles mentioned, but the Medu Neter has not been deciphered? And since you believe that it has not been deciphered, as you stated, can you please explain why? And with all due respect, without all the pontificating, and I want to sit back and listen.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, I want to apologize. After I did say that, I said I focus mostly on science, right? So when I said that I believe it, I believe in what I only understand. All right. So the first thing is I'm going to say that I'm a little ignorant to the subject. I'm going to say that I understand it for points as far as it's many people trying to explain to me what and why. Not to say that it doesn't belong to, but story, comes from who? Like Helios, Apollo, different places that are told to us that are not true. I'm patient with that. There's plenty of people trying to tell us different stories, and not to say that's not deciphered, not to say that it doesn't belong to anyone. I'm not trying to make that disclaimer. I'm not trying to say any of that. When I said that I don't know, you taught me something just now. You told me that Ramses' name is in there. You taught me that all of that. That's new information for me. I promise you, that's new information. I just know it as it being a competition to figure out what it is. I didn't do the background story. I didn't go hard on it. Again, my aspect and how I came to this group is from a scientific formula. From the makings and creatings and the things that we've done to get to where we are today, kind of, sort of, without knowing about it. So I
You know,
understand
brother. Brother, I just want to tell you, and anybody else listening, Brother Anthony Harris or Brother Chris is correct. The name Ramesu, well, in Greek is Ramses, but in the Medu Neter it's actually Ramesu. It is written. And the other name or titulary, Userma Adra Setepenra, it's also written. But not many people know about this Userma Adra Setepenra, because some of you might have read that the kings had 5 names. You see, so you had the Sarah name and different other names. So, but the main name Ramses II, yes, indeed, his name is Rames. So it's written in the glyph. Thought, for example, that's a Greek way, but the proper name, the proper pronunciation is most likely Jehuti. This is also written in the glyphs, and a lot of people might not know that, but we have so many records, so many artifacts throughout the world, and we see those names. You see, now Pharaoh, in my video, Kemet and Ma'at, which was made around 2008, I did say that they did not use that. Our ancestors didn't use that they used Suten, and I made 2 mistakes because back then I wasn't aware of the honorific inversion. That's the grammar. Now, Brother Chris has gone, but maybe he'll come back. So it's actually pronounced Nesu or Nesut. So that was one mistake that I made. And the other mistake that I made is saying that our ancestors never used that, because Pharaoh derives from Per-A. Per means house and A means great. So it literally translates as the great house. And that term was written, you see. So it's like saying the White House. The White House decided so and so. And we know that if we refer to the White House, it's as if we refer to as a president of the United States. So the Greek word, or well, whatever word gave us Pharaoh, whatever language it was, it derives from Per-A. So there's so many words like that that comes directly from the Medu Neter, you see. And but a lot of people are not aware of that. But brother, if maybe one day you want to give it a try, there's the Medu Neter classes, but it's not for everybody, I understand. But for those who have the slightest interest, at least give it a try.
Your whole ending just now is what kickstarted my search into a full understanding of separation of the names, the entitlements, that even all the way down to a spiritual form, the calendar.
Brother, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go now because it's been 3 hours, and there's so many times I said that I'm learning languages. There's one of those languages I'm going to take my class. So I want to thank you all for calling in, brothers. Thank you, Thought the Atlantean. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you very much for calling in, and always feel free to call again. So brothers and sisters, I will have to leave now. We've been live streaming for 3 hours, and it was very nice, very informative. It's good to listen to other people's point of view. I would say stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to, Brother Necheru, I will definitely have a back at you. Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know,
Hotep.
I'm giving Medu Neter classes, and here, that's the flyer. Okay, so those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool, but I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Medu Neter class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Medu Neter lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Medu Neter, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Medu Neter, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neter classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neter class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.